Your car doesn't get much of a summer break. Bugs, UV rays, and pollen can all cause damage. Stay protected at WetGo with Weather Shield and a free month of unlimited washes. Just purchase your first month of WetGo Go Unlimited, and your second month is free. Wash as many times as you want. And when you choose our all-weather or showroom pass featuring Weather Shield, you'll say bye-bye to bugs all summer long. Sign up today at getgocafe.com/unlimited.
If you've been a renter, you know it's stressful to find the perfect place. But Zillow Rentals make it easy. They have filters for pretty much everything, so you can find a rental that's big enough for entertaining your friends, but small enough they won't crash all weekend. Find your sweet spot on ZillowRentals.com.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm back temporarily. I booted into a flash drive and we are running this, so we will see how this works out. Hopefully we do not crash, that I have to cancel this and this podcast never makes air, and then I'll have to call into Rich and it will be hosted by Rich. But for the time being, we have scammed our way with my crashed C drive into being able to run everything we were running before off the old Audacity. I'm not on the fans Audacity, I'm on the old Audacity. So, Rich, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just, feeling like a champion, feeling like Giannis, or,
soon to be,
yep.
It's looking that way.
Yeah. Just, ready to do the show, and got a lot to get to. We saw this was a pretty big week in wrestling.
Yeah.
Just everyone, we knew when July was coming. That's when fans were going to pretty much come back across the board, and companies are loading up with a lot of stuff, and I'm just ready to talk about some of it. Some of it I like, some of it I think is kind of mid, but we'll see. I did see just an interesting post right now, real quick before we get started. WWE Shop apparently has put up some new merchandise for Braun Strowman. Yes, a man that we haven't heard from in months.
Unbelievable. I actually had this thought yesterday, and the reason why. Okay, so not yesterday, earlier today. I thought to myself, bro, they fired Braun Strowman. He was the Universal Champion like 10 months ago.
Damn.
He won at WrestleMania 36, right?
Yes.
He lost it at SummerSlam last year, right?
Yes.
He was a champion, literally 11 months ago. And they fired him.
Yeah.
After having one of the best matches of the year on the main roster. Like a week after, 2 weeks after.
Life comes at you fast.
Outstanding. This fucking company. Well, good luck, Omos. Good luck. So speaking of WWE, we're starting out with the pay-per-view from last night. Money in the Bank. What are your initial thoughts on the show last night, Rich, as far as what you did see? And we'll talk about what you didn't see, and I'll fill you in.
Yeah, it looks like everyone was pretty much into the show. A couple of matches I saw, one of them was pretty good. The Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match. The Peacock thing sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the downage period, and first thing I thought was, wow, Nick Khan convinced Vince McMahon to sell the good product for this less product or whatever for the bag. And that man's putting out like that non-blue magic now.
Red magic. He put out the red magic.
Man putting out red magic before the old WWE Network was blue magic. So rarely had issues with WWE Network, but yeah, that was a real bummer for about 25 minutes. But Big E winning Money in the Bank was pretty cool.
Yes.
Even though I think something drastically needs to change with his presentation personally. But I guess we'll get into that, when we get there. But main event, really wasn't feeling it. I thought it was, let's see, how can I describe this? I thought it was extremely slow.
Yep.
I thought it was Edge doing an old man match and getting beat on with like forearms for like the first 20 minutes, and he was holding on the bottom rope for his dear life. Like the whole thing with Edge, like I just think he doesn't, like, he's trying to make up for his either inability or lack of wanting to bump, really, with the increased emphasis on like the old man selling and all that. And I'm like, man, if I want to see this, like, I can watch Dustin Rhodes, who like blows you away, Edge, at this point. Like, and I was watching and I was like, this is a really lazy main event. They were laying in chin locks forever. The entrances, Mike, I watch SmackDown too. Man, when you don't watch WWE for a long time, it's like,
it's jarring.
You step into a whole new world. Like, and someone had asked me for my thoughts on the show because they knew I was going to watch the show. And I sent a text back after. It was like, yeah, as far as SmackDown, I was like, maybe like a B-. I was like, it's kind of overproduced. And
I asked you that. It was me. Because I didn't watch it, but it was like, it's the first show back with fans on the main roster. I might want to go check it out. And then you told me B-, and I think also Murray told us B- as well. And then I was like, I'll get around to it. And then I was like, I looked up and saw how much fucking how many shows and matches I had to catch up on. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get around to that.
Yeah. I sent this one to someone else. I was like, it was kind of overproduced and not really fast paced enough for me, because they didn't get started with the wrestling until like 8:17, and I'm like, where's the fucking match? Like, and they were just milked the entrances so long. Like, they did it for an entire segment. And I was like, wow, that let me know immediately I was not watching a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I hate when they go to commercial as soon as the match starts. They got cute with the crowd noise button a few times. I thought the wrestlers tried hard, and a lot of them looked happy to be back. I thought Kevin Owens was awesome. Edge looked 60, as I was basically saying. Edge is kind of old. I think Seth Rollins may be reinvigorated with the crowd. I think they need to shit or get off the pot with Big E, and apparently they committed to him a little bit, with the Money in the Bank stuff. Apollo, they did a vignette for him that was pretty interesting. He looked interesting. Otis did not. They made him cut all his facial hair, and he's just a charismaless, like, mean guy now. The only thing I didn't really see was like young male stars getting pushed, because they don't have those.
How about the women?
Getting there. So next week, I was like, I don't know why I would watch the show. The only thing that was really advertised was the Rolling Loud stuff for next week.
That's next week. Okay.
Yeah. I think Bianca's great, and they have to take care of her because she's got it. Carmella's been shockingly solid for a while. They had a pretty enjoyable match. I don't think I would watch SmackDown every week. Like, I'll stick with the pay-per-views. Yeah. But it's very jarring going from like the Mookie Ball, I would say, like Chris Harrington, how AEW basically maximizes their minutes with everything that they're doing, right? On SmackDown, they sent Corbin out there for 10 minutes to kill time, and I'm like, this is a 2-hour fucking show. Right. Mookie Ghana would not be fucking doing this. Like, right. But back to the main event with Money in the Bank, lots of interference, lots of bullshit, whatever. I think this is probably like one of the couple duds that are on the Roman Reigns title reign here, but this thing was entirely predictable up to like feeling like Seth was going to run out, and they did.
Because they teased it. They teased it right after Money in the Bank. They teased it like he was going to interfere in the match. And it was like, oh, gee, I wonder. The way he stated, he was like, I got a plan. I want the champion. Whoever comes out of it winning. And I'm like, seconds ago, you just blamed Edge for taking your spot that you should have for the title right now. Mm-hmm. You know how they do a babyface bail. They're about to come out here and have Seth run in and fuck him and fuck Edge. And then, like, sure enough, that happened twice. Look, and not one time when he was like, the way he stated, like, I want the champion. Not one time did he ever, like, attack Roman. He attacked Edge twice and it cost Edge the title. I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay, whatever, man. Like, I knew you were going to go to Edge, Seth, but, like, why did you have him say that beforehand? Like, it made no sense. It made it, like, whatever. I
thought the match was, like, very long, and it didn't need to be. I don't know, man. Like, as far as, like, the Edge comeback, like, very mixed performances, because sometimes he looks how he looks, I think, in this match and Royal Rumble, where he's, like, huffing and puffing for dear life. Then, like, I don't know. I think Edge might work best in shorter matches, because asking him to go 35 minutes seems to be a disaster.
The only time it's worked is when he was able to do the freaking match with Orton with multiple takes and do the match twice, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't, even if he was like 10 years younger and he was still in his prime, right? It's still a WWE main event match where the heel is taking like 75% of the match by means of laying on the mat and one-sided offense. Like, and then you have the run-ins at the end. Like, the run-ins...
And all the talking still.
Yeah. Like, I guess I just, like... I rewatched the match today. The story is better than I gave it credit for initially. However, the action is still... in the middle. Like, the first act is fine, and then the second act is fine. Well, I don't want to say fine. I would say the beginning of the technical wrestling story, and then the comeback to the finish is good wrestling and telling story. The middle part, like 10 minutes of Roman just beating the shit out of the dude forever and just taking his time and not ever actually trying to cover him. It's like, so he wants to torture him?
It was just clubbing arms to the back, and I was just like
on top of him, throwing down like these. That's another part with this issue with the Roman thing that for me watching it. I should say for now. Let's go through the card and then we'll get to it, because it's like
might as well start there. Main event.
Yeah. All right. Fine. It's just that's the main event of the show, and like earlier in the show, they had a dominant heel champion beat the shit out of the babyface contender. And it was way more vicious. It was way more impactful. And it was faster. And, like, to see that earlier in the show in the first hour, and then in the main event see what Roman and Edge did is like, am I supposed to forget what I just saw 2 hours ago when I saw it done better? And, like, to better usage? It's like, that was just wasting time. Like, when you laid on the mat forever in a chokehold, he actually laid in like some, like, it wasn't a karate, but he laid on the mat in like some weird chokehold, and then he turned it into a chokehold. And I was like, go ahead.
I was gonna say it looked like that thing that Thunder Rosa was using recently but hers looks way better.
Yeah, and I'm sure she didn't like sit in it for like 3 minutes. So
nah, it's like one of those instant submissions. Like, you in that shit for 3 seconds and you tap.
Right. So it laying on that, not selling it. He didn't try to fight to the ropes, whatever. It's just literally like a chin lock until someone claps and get him up. And then he got out by elbowing his way out. Like, he didn't reach the ropes or he didn't, escape. He was just laying there. And I was like, it didn't have to be like that. Like, it just, the match was at a certain point at the beginning, and then it just like, when Roman just took over, it was just like, okay, we know nothing. We know that like nothing's gonna happen until I got to the point where I felt like I was watching a Randy Orton match. Was like nothing matters until someone hits their comeback. Once the comeback happens, then we'll get the actual match. But like, you're just wasting our time. And it's like, we talk about this with Okada often. It's like first 15 or 20 minutes, depending how long that match goes, it's good wrestling. But doesn't really matter. This wasn't good wrestling. This is just laying there. So, like,
yeah,
that has to be figured out. Like, either go 25 minutes instead of 33 fucking minutes, or whatever. Like, if that match is like that match is 25 minutes instead of 33, that match is a lot better. Like, I think I give that match like 3.25. But a 3.25 star match that goes 33 minutes is a fucking insufferable.
Yeah, I think I'm a little even lower than that. I'm like,
that's fine. It went 33 minutes. It was only good. It was only really good for like the last like 8 minutes of the match.
Like I described in the text, I was like, all right, so we had 20 minutes of them laying around doing nothing, a bunch of interference, and then them breaking the barricades. Like, that's what we were left with.
Right.
Like, and then the run-ins, like with Rollins and then the Usos. I was like, what? 2 3/4? Like, that's where I was at. Like maybe a 3-star match.
In a 33-minute match, you had like the first 5 minutes of the match before they got out the ring, and then you had like the comeback the Edge had in the near falls where he's teasing like he's gonna beat like he's teasing like he's going to beat Roman Reigns off an inverted facebuster front pin. And people bought it. I was like, look, man, the crowd's loving it. They like it more than me, but I'm just like, hell no, he's not gonna beat him. So,
yeah.
And then the run-ins happen. It's like, look, man, like once I see, if I never see another rough bump, like
this one was like hilarious. They play like this man tore his knee, like to explain why it took so long.
But that's the reason, exactly. Instead of just doing the knockout, they did he tore his knee, so that explains why there's 2 different run-ins, and then we'll tease the near fall where Edge gets a visual pin, and then the ref will run in, and I rewatched it. Because when Edge hit the spear, when Roman sets up a spear, Edge hits the spear and gets the visual pinfall, and the crowd is chanting like, "There's no ref, so we'll visually count until the ref finally gets to the ring." Right? I don't know if it was a mistiming, miscue, whatever, but Roman heard the crowd chant 1, 2. And before the ref could actually get into the ring, he kicked out thinking, because he just listened to the crowd and was like, I gotta get my shoulder up, otherwise this is all fucked. So 1, 2, shoulder up, and then the ref starts counting, and then he gets the shoulder up again. And McAfee, because like he has been programmed, actually acknowledged that like he had got the shoulder up before the ref even had counted. And I was like, yeah, man, ain't no good, but it is what it is. Like, so it was just there's a better match between those two in that match between those two. Will we ever get it? Who cares? Like, this point, who cares? Like, this has been the whole 8 months of the year now. Or 7 months of the year now.
This is why I like Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania so much. That 17 minutes forced them to maximize everything they needed to do. Minimal resting and bullshit and just fucking around. It was just
Rich. There's no politics in men's wrestling to Vince McMahon's mind. He just sends you out there. It don't matter about your height.
You mean women's wrestling?
Oh, women's. Yes. It doesn't matter about the height disparity, the size disparity. You just go out there. You have your match. You tell your story and then like you get a certain amount of time to where you don't just overstay your welcome. And you just go. And sometimes there's bullshit, but when there's not bullshit and it's two talented people and they want them to have a great match, they'll go have a great match. You see why, I've always liked the women's division ever since, like, the Horsemen got up here, as opposed to, like, what they do with the men's roster where everybody has to be shot fucking bailed and protected to a certain spot. Like, no. You can beat them and move on. Like, if Edge had lost, if Roman just speared him out his boots after 33 minutes with no interference, what? Is that the end of the world?
Yeah.
They act like it.
I thought this was the company where wins and losses don't matter.
But that's why they shoot everybody bail.
Yeah. Then, Roman gets on the mic after the match.
No. Let's go back to the visual pin kick out. That happens. Edge sets up for the spear. Seth brings his ass back out after the official third set of run-ins. Edge just sees him up on the apron because he didn't see when he had him in the cross face with the chair bar, yeah. Right? Because he just hit him from behind. So that could have been anybody. That could have been Jimmy or Jay, right? So he sees him on the apron this time. This dummy that's, the the ultimate opportunist, sees this fucker on the apron and I have to clear him off the ring right now immediately. Clears him off the ring, turn around, spirit out his boots, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The distraction finish, like a geek.
They did all that.
The end with a distraction finish. Exactly. 33 minutes. Thanks. So,
yeah, man. Crowd bought on a lot of it.
Hey, it worked for the crowd. It worked for the crowd they were in front of. So good for them, right? That's the point. It didn't work for me.
Yeah. Then,
but that stuff don't work for me anymore. Like if you see it every other pay-per-view, for 10 years, it kind of wears on you. Like, I had enough of this shit, man.
Yeah. Then John Cena comes out after Roman Reigns.
Cuts pro for no reason.
Yeah, just basically set out. Cena's coming out dressed like a Sprite bottle. He's got the green, the yellow, the all that, kind of a new font. It looks like he has a costume on at this point because I don't know, man. This man's an actor now. Like he came out and I was like, and then he took the hat off and I was like, oh my God, like the hair is straight or whatever. Like he doesn't have the low buzz cut.
Well, you know why he has a low buzz cut though?
I know.
He has to cover the bald spot in the back.
I know. And so he has like this kind of fluffed up hair. And it's just like, this man looks like a parody of himself. Like this is the first time I ever thought John Cena looked old.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I remember one of his last runs in the last like 3 years or so, he was smaller than he had been like in previous years, and I was like, okay. Like I was like, okay, he's out of that. Like he looked relatively. I mean,
he's in great shape.
Oh yeah, he's always in great shape. Because he was smaller than he used to be. Like, but I'm just saying, like he's somewhere in between where he was in like let's say 2018 and where he was in like 2015 as far as like size, like bulk or whatever else. Like he's somewhere in between there. So to me, compared to the last few times I saw him, he looks better. The hair thing doesn't bother me, but because I know what that is. Jericho has not shared with John the plug. I don't know why. I don't know if John has seen any AEW and had been like, that's not natural. Let me call Chris. I need some help.
I think they live in a similar area, if I'm not mistaken. So they may be neighbors. So help your neighbor out, Jericho.
Yeah.
But like, I saw it and I was like, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. When they're 4 years older, when they're 4 years slower.
Yeah.
When Roman Reigns is wrestling at a worse level now than he did then.
When John Cena hasn't like had a great match in like 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And a match that wasn't even all that good the last time they did. And of course, I believe Cena came out on Raw and did like a big promo, just taking a dump on him.
Came out on Raw for a SmackDown wrestler, which is like why I sent out that text is like, why is he going on Raw when he went face to face with the SmackDown champion?
Ratings.
They don't need those on Fox.
They'll get them when he shows up
for the second promo.
Yes, because then he goes face to face. Like they
that's so much different. That's so much different.
They milking this. They gonna milk every second of this. But like it doesn't really do much for me. People, Josh brought it up. It was like people have either they're pretending that it didn't happen 4 years ago, or it just like people don't remember it. And I'm like, yeah, we thought it was dumb at the time because it was like at No Mercy.
Right. And it was second from the top.
Yes. Or no, it was just in the middle of the show. Like
I'm sorry. It was the second biggest match. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was the second biggest match.
It was like that. And I was like, y'all hot shotted like a WrestleMania program in 1 month or whatever for this shit. And I'm like that, we said that shit was so dumb in real time.
Yep.
And like, imagine if that wasn't on the books now. Then I think you might actually have somewhat of a compelling match, even if there's no chance in fuck that Cena's winning.
Right. Like,
he's going to do the same. Like, this is going to be a carbon copy, probably a worse version of the last feud.
Also, when you mention all that stuff, we've talked about this a few times. if you look at Google Trends and look at like WWE in his search popularity, like that No Mercy, that pay-per-view was like the end of it. Was like that was the last stand, and then like everything has gone down ever since then. Since that one pay-per-view.
So like John Cena's promo is going to become even more true. Like, I'm just here because you can't do your job. Like,
remember when Roman said ticket sales are great in front of a half empty fucking arena. But then people got mad at us for pointing that out. We're like, well, the hard camera side is a side that's empty.
Like, you know how, like, oh my god, it's gonna be hilarious to hear all these promos. We're gonna have to get Simon back on the show to analyze this.
Oh god,
at some point,
yeah.
Because you know this is his favorite rivalry. You know, or this is what I.
Well, is it his favorite rivalry? He didn't like the fact he was roasting Roman. He didn't love the fact he was roasting Roman like that. Yeah, remember, like. Imagine that Sunday is like. Imagine that next week is like a drug test. You ain't getting past me. It's like, god damn. Yeah. On his ass. Yeah, he was on his ass. I don't think he get away with that now. Or maybe he not even get away with it. I don't think that's appropriate right now. They got to come up with something else.
Well, you know that man gonna say something about the Usos, like he about to do it because he did it last time.
Yeah, DUIs, of course.
Yeah. So
didn't they high five after the DUI joke last time?
I believe they did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but John Cena and Roman Reigns, like, they're gonna tell us it's a big match. They're gonna act like it's a big match. They're gonna push it like it's John Cena versus The Rock or something, and it does not connect. Look, it does not connect for me on that level.
It is okay. So it is a big match, but it ain't John Cena versus The Rock. You kidding me? Nah, like it's definitely not that.
They're about to airbrush all of this. Like, it's going to be, what they do.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess we can move on. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This is one of the greatest Money in the Bank ladder matches of all time. This match was incredible. Ricochet. We should have known this. It's Ricochet, Sean Morrison, it's Kevin Owens. Like, of course, and Matt Riddle and Nakamura is there to then get into their own way where they can actually just basically, like, spar each other at a point in the match. You got Seth there, you got Big E there, and it's like, it was just a great match. It was awesome. There's so many crazy things. Kevin Owens, he's gonna kill himself. Why do I feel like I say that every time I see him in some special rules match, like he's gonna kill himself?
We know what's happening with him, man. Like he took some crazy ass bump on SmackDown too. I think he jumped off the ladder. Yeah, he jumped off the ladder through a table.
Like the ladders don't tell me like the ladders that were props on top of the ramp.
He just had a ladder outside the ring, and like he jumped on somebody through the announce table. I think he gave him like an elbow or a splash or some shit. So like whenever there's something there, like yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, that's what he does. You know, is Mr. Fall Off shit. Like,
oh my gosh. This guy.
That shit reminds me of New Jack. He was like, yeah, man, like, whether you win or lose, like, so you tell me I'm gonna lose, all right, I'm gonna just start diving. Like, so you ain't even gonna remember I lost?
But at least New Jack was high on cocaine when he did this stuff. Kevin, I don't see, unless Kevin is out here taking a bump before a different kind of bump before he comes back from Gorilla or through Gorilla. Like, this man is doing this shit off just adrenaline.
I said, we are not talking about the WWE show The Bump, different bump.
No.
Yeah.
The man out here playing with his nose. Like, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Owens is crazy. He got power. Let's see. Let me think the things happened to him. He got basically scoop slammed. He got scoop slammed onto the edge of a ladder. He also landed. He got flipped or back body dropped and landed knee first, or suplex and landed knee first on a ladder that was on the mat. And then the coup de resistance. Seth Rollins pulls him off the ladder and then power bombs him over the top rope through a ladder bridge where he basically lands head and neck first, right where the shit breaks, and like he grabs his neck and head, and I don't know if that was a shooter, if that's a selling. I have no idea. If he had died, if we had found out that he had died last night, I'd been like, oh my god, like that. I can't say I can't believe it. The way he fell.
Yeah, that reminded me of when Moxley got powerbombed at WrestleMania 33.
31.
Oh, 31, yeah.
Yeah, with when it was Harper. It was Brody that powerbombed him, right? Yep, exactly the same thing, except like Kevin Owens is way bigger than Moxley. He has way more force.
Karrion Kross just got called up to Monday Night Raw.
Cool. Ricochet, we'll get to it in a second. Ricochet did the similar spot to what he did in that North American ladder match where he gets tipped off on the ladder he's on. He basically then transitions to springboarding off of the top rope, and then he flip dove onto a crowd of people. Drew McIntyre, God bless him. He was awesome in this match. Him and Big E, they teased him and Big E, and when they got in there, it was fun. Like I said, Riddle and Nakamura was fun when they were in there together, sparring and flipping through and countering each other's strikes. Morrison was doing outrageous shit. He had a terrible botch where he did base like a 450 elbow drop, but he missed. But he was doing a bunch of other crazy shit as well. The dipstick thing, I don't know where or the drip stick, I don't know where the hell that came from, but all right, whatever. But he was awesome in this match. Like, this was a great match. Like, I ended up giving this 4.5. I loved this match. It really sucks for people that like had the network issues and never handled that and figured it out and never went back to watch it. For anybody that did not watch that match, go back and watch that fucking match. That match was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I caught like the last half of it because I was still dealing with issues watching it. But what I did see looked crazy. Like that big flip Ricochet did was incredible. And Big E won.
Yes.
And now he's a babyface Money in the Bank holder.
He's the best, most credible Money in the Bank winner since who?
2000.
Who won 17? Because Moxley won 16.
16. Moxley. Baron Corbin was 17.
That's right. And then he lost it. 18. I don't remember.
Braun.
That's right. 19. Yeah, I remember who 19 was.
19.
19 Money in the Bank winner. 19 Money in the Bank winner.
Brock.
That's fucking right. Jesus Christ. Okay, so and in 2020 was Otis. So out of what the Money in the Bank is supposed to embody as somebody that is just beneath the surface and needs a little push over to then get themselves into the main event scene, he is easily the best candidate or best winner since Moxley in 2016. Easily. Braun Strowman was like, he should have been champion by that fucking point in time, the time he won it. Yeah. Brock Lesnar, what the fuck? That was just to troll us.
Yep.
And then Otis is just like, that's no.
A terrible decision in real time. It will look worse as we go on.
Right. He was never going to be champion. It was a means to get to Miz. They should have put it on Miz if that was the case. Like, yeah. So,
yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like something with Biggie needs to change. The goofiness is...
Move over from... he needs to move... Are you saying he needs to move away from New Day entirely?
No, like I don't know. Like, for me, like, I spoke with a friend of mine, and I was like, man, like, with Big E, I was like, it feels like there's something missing. Like, I know they changed his music recently. I'm like, why doesn't he get a new finisher? And I don't know if it would necessarily, like, that simple story would resonate. Like, if Biggie was in New Japan, they would do this, and it would work and get over. Yeah. Like, he's doing the big ending now. I would make the big ending his signature move, and to give him a new finish. Be like, why that big ending? Like, he has this new move that no one can fucking kick out of because the big ending's, like, been here for years. Yeah. Like, everyone can kick out of that. But I don't know, man. Like, it's just something, like, I think the goofiness is starting to wear on me because I feel like the New Day act is wearing on me, and I know they're over, and very popular. Kofi Kingston got big reactions from what I'm hearing, and I don't know. It seems like it's stuck in a time warp. Like, Big E's 35 now. Like, they've been doing this since he was, like, not even in his 30s. So it's like, you gotta, like like Bret Hart wasn't the same like as he was in the Hart Foundation. Like Shawn Michaels switched some shit up from a rocker. Like I feel like something needs to change with him. Like
I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair at all. I think that can come during the build towards whatever, they're teasing with him over the next few months or whatever till they eventually get to the cash in.
Like they got to tap into his passion for everything. Like some of the stuff that he was doing where he was speaking, like I feel like they need to watch a bunch of old tapes on how to get baby faces over with him. Like, because
why would they do that? They don't get any baby faces over, Rich.
True. So that's why I can only be so. I'm like, all right.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because he's somebody. I'm happy for him just for the fact that, like, all right, he's already a WWE Hall of Famer. He's somebody that, like, has done everything that you would need to then be qualified to then get a push in a main event spot at the top of a card. It just has never happened yet. There's never been a good reason why not to. And he had been. They split up the New Day. And we were like, all right, so are they going to push him? And then, like, WrestleMania came and went, and we were like, well, what the fuck? So now it's like, all right, well, then now this is a perfect spot to get the money bank to get to this point to where then, like, you can go from there. Like, I think that, like, some changes will be made along the way to make him seem more serious and be more fitting of a top-of-the-card guy, even though I think he pretty much has most of it. But we'll see. Like, when I say we'll see, like, I know they're going to screw it up, but, like, we'll see what changes come of this, and I think that he's talented enough to make most of the things that they give to him or change him work out anyway, because he has the crowd's respect. People like him. He's a likable guy.
Yeah. Maybe they do. Maybe he's not. Like, I can't even picture him beating Roman Reigns. That's funny, but
who's gonna beat Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns getting buried with that fucking thing. Like, the only way Roman Reigns loses is gonna be because of Brock Lesnar came back and Heyman turned on him or some stupid shit like that no one will care about.
Yep. So, before that, we had Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
man, they saved themselves with this match because I thought this feud has been just abysmal. Like, everything I've heard about it, it's just been nothing but toxic. And even they may have finished off Rhea Ripley in a loss anyway. Like the experiment, like everyone seems to be like the experiment is over. Like she's basically like a shell of herself from NXT. I like the match. And I think she displayed like she's incredibly strong. Like that whole sequence when she had to basically pull Charlotte up and it looked like they could have fell at any time, but they didn't. Like, and the crowd like kind of gave them that little extra pop on that. I thought that was good. They had some of the normal sloppiness that comes with some Charlotte stuff, but I think this is one of Charlotte's best matches in ages because and it's real funny when Charlotte has a good match. Like then Twitter responds with like the she's the GOAT stuff and all that stuff. Like they had to be real quiet for a long time. I hope they realize that because it had been quite a while since her last like good match. Like how low did Charlotte get drafted this year in the Social Suplex draft?
I'd have to look. I have to pull it up.
Very low.
Let me go figure that out real quick.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Charlotte, I believe they've began fucking with the count for her titles again. I was seeing earlier on my Twitter timeline, they were saying that they're calling her a 5-time Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, erasing the NXT ones that were added on previously. So I don't know. We'll have to pay more attention to it. But they're always doing goofy shit with her. I don't know. Time will tell, but this will probably end up another title win that you don't remember for her because they're just trying to get her to the number. They gave Rhea Ripley a lot because she was losing. She kicked out of a top rope natural selection. She was kicking out of big moves left and right. Some of the match obviously didn't make sense to me when it comes to the finish. They did they did that match last month and Rhea they did a disqualification because someone hit the table. But like, what's the difference between a ring post and the ring steps, like in the table? So that doesn't make sense.
Wait, what?
How she caught that disqualification last month, like because the piece of the table that was used or something like
Yeah,
that.
she flipped that cover that they have on the top that's like thin. Yeah, when basically Charlotte had the story is Charlotte had Rhea dead to rights, so Rhea did or flipped that flimsy thing over onto Charlotte for a DQ, which is like one of the lamest DQs in recent memory in WWE. And like Charlotte's is like she's pissed, but she's also like, oh, you're cheating like me. She's like, congratulations. She's like, you're learning, bitch. She's which is one of my favorite things Charlotte has ever fucking said or done, because it's like, what?
Like this feud had two unlikable people. Like everything I saw from this looked terrible until this match. And I think they're having a rematch tonight. Outside
of their matches, the feud stinks. But I mean, that's not the first time Charlotte has had a feud that, like, as far as like motivations, characters, and what they're accomplishing has been screwed up or isn't functioning at optimal level. Like that tends to be most of her feuds, to be quite honest with you. Like, look what happened with Becky. Look what happened in 2016 with Sasha. Like, luckily, her and Sasha just killed it every fucking time they had a match. This to make people forget how bad that, or how not bad, but like how just lacking that feud was as far as like a personal tension between them two, other than they just want to get in the ring and wrestle each other. So, that happens with a lot of Charlotte stuff. I mean, shit, look at what happened with her and Lacey before Lacey ended up having to leave the show.
Yeah, that was going to be a big disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know where Rhea Ripley goes here. Good luck with wrestling Nikki the superhero or
almost Dana a superhero.
Brooke. Like that. That's what it seems like.
And you know what's the worst part about that is the branding, because like I thought that it was abbreviated as ASH for like, so you can call her Nikki Ash. Oh no, everybody must call her Nikki ASH.
Horrible. Yeah, but it's another Charlotte title win in the vacuum. Match was cool. And they got cheered.
Yeah,
like they got clapped for. Like,
well, I will say I ended up giving this match 4 stars. And the crazy part is like, because I've watched so much wrestling. I watched Dynamite, NXT today, and also had to rewatch some stuff that I saw earlier in the week when I hadn't slept in 2 days. So I had to rewatch. So I couldn't remember the stuff I had watched for. So like my mind's just a wash of all the stuff I've seen. So I remember I ended up writing in my notes, my recommended match notes. I ended up giving this match 4 stars. And I looked at Cage Match. I think it's about 4 stars as well. So whatever. Like, I don't remember much of this match outside of the beginning of the crowd was about to shit on this match, and then they wrestled well because they were about to chant, "We want Becky." Charlotte, like, which is one of the better character things she's ever done. She's like, "Oh no." fuck all of you, and then putting off the crowd, and then like Production 2 has to black out the screen because like Charlotte's thinking on her feet, but it's also PG, so there's that.
It took 4 matches for this crowd to be basically going to business for themselves.
Right. Now, Rich, right? This crowd was great at times. For the most part, this crowd was great. It had its moments where they wanted to, I think that's really the only moment where they really wanted to go in business for themselves. But earlier this week on Twitter, there was discourse from a lot of WWE apologists.
Oh, we're going to do it.
That a lot of them were like, we don't want fans to actually come back because they ruin things for my enjoyment of watching the show. Now, Rich, you saw that crowd last night. They had that moment in that match, and then later in that match, that they were awesome. So, did they, in general, and overall, enhance the viewing experience or make it worse from what you saw on the show?
All week, it's been better, and we're going to talk about it right now. This is a bunch of cockamamie bullshit that people have like popped up. I saw one guy that said he's a wrestling promoter and he would like the Thunderdome instead of fans. I'm like, no, you're dressing this shit up because you're some kind of WWE apologist that is like, that doesn't want the thing that you hold close to you to get the fucking work by real life people that attend the shows if they fuck it up. Also, people have redirected what all this meant to dress it up, and when people say they clearly want to see fans back, to enhance the presentation of the shows, people have taken this and spun it with a straw man, like saying that the crowds are racist and everything like that. I'm like, okay, like America's fucking racist. Do you want us to solve society's ills at the same time? Like, stop this. Like, stop like trying to come out here and set up these bullshit straw mans, like to hop in front of Vince McMahon so he doesn't get hit by a train. Like, stop this. Like, this is this is coming from.
I have not heard I did not see anyone say that, like, or do this thing where they're saying that, like, they don't want the fans there because they're racist or sexist. Like, here's the thing:
they're nerds or they're rude or they quote unquote stink.
This is what
or whatever.
I heard.
And I'm like,
that's the one I heard. Right?
Fucking like,
that's the one I heard. And I was like, look, I was like, hey.
This is the same kind of pejorative thing when people on Twitter, you see them attach like sex or like getting hose or something to, like, they do that to try to not acknowledge like whatever the criticism is. Like, oh, go get some hose. All that bullshit.
My favorite one is like people say like, I can't believe people are Meltzer fans. They need to observe some bitches. And I was like, and I'm thinking to myself like, so you think like these are all incels that like follow? You think these are just all incels? Because I can tell you right now, like, I am not voluntarily celibate.
Look, the sex havers watch this wrestling show,
right?
You know,
and it was like
the non-sex havers have that
and
one.
I'm thinking to myself like, okay, so let me get this right. You guys think that you guys are cool because you watch WWE? Like, bro, we're all fucking losers for watching this stupid shit. What are you talking about? We are watching people hurt themselves to give us a fake fight.
Yeah. Like,
what?
I've seen this like on Twitter like for quite a while. Okay, like, it's like it's all the same accounts. It's all the same bullshit. But like
the one I heard, the one that I did see that you mentioned was like because these crowds of people stink or blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sorry, I thought that we were talking about the viewing experience. I didn't know we had smell-o-vision. What are we talking about? I don't give a fuck what y'all smell like. I'm not there.
Yeah.
And as far as so many people in their hygiene, hey, how many times have we talked on this show about wrestling fans and their hygiene? So I'm not gonna disagree with you on that. My point is, I'm not amongst them. I'm trying to watch the people, loud people be excited for the thing they are seeing. And a lot of these WWE shows have so many bad misdirection steps for what they want to do that
they can't figure out how to do that.
It leaves them ultimately like unsatisfied. So then, because they're there, they do stuff or they sit in their hands. I watch wrestling, and I tweeted this out. I cover and watch WWE, NXT. I'm sorry, I said Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, New Japan, and Stardom. I am only seeing this we don't want fans stuff from main roster fans. It's not. I don't recall ever hearing Jeremy or Josh talk about, oh man, the clap, I wish there were wish there was nobody. I wish you can go back to like when they were doing the right before
the dojo shows.
Yeah, those dojo shows. When they were doing New Japan Cup last year, right? No, and even if you want to say, well, we're talking about American. Okay, I watch NXT. I watch Dynamite. The last 2 weeks when we had full crowds back. It's been fucking great.
Phenomenal.
It's been excellent having fans back.
Like, I have not seen a single AEW fan on Twitter, and I follow quite a lot of people. Like, I follow like cross sections of wrestling fans to kind of see what everyone's talking about, right? Unless you're like way off the fucking reservation, then I'll mute you. But I don't think I've seen a single like person that normally cheers for AEW or enjoys their shows a lot, fans of their wrestlers, saying, yeah, we don't want fans coming back. Like, these are not AEW problems. These are not NXT problems. These are not
Impact problems. These aren't Ring of Honor problems. These aren't Shimmer starting up I think next month or in the next like few weeks or whatever. These are not Shimmer problems or Shine problems.
These are not independent wrestling problems, because I'm sure like all these people, and of course there's some wrestlers in there that also engage with that fuck shit, trying to be cool on Twitter to these people they're trying to work or whatever. y'all are fucking marks, and I'm talking to the wrestlers that engage in that bullshit.
Yeah, think about it. We don't want people that will then come to our show, and if they like something we do during the show, might buy our merch that we're going to, after the show, go out in front of people and smile in their face and ask these marks to go buy some shit. What are you talking about? That sounds like the dumbest. Remember, what was it? My president is black. Jeezy. Be all you can be. Don't that sound like some dumb shit? Don't that sound like some dumb shit?
Like joining in, like with the fans in there. Hey, we want the Thunderdome sentiment. Like, I see y'all. I'm not gonna put no names on y'all because, like, I'm not trying to get clipped right now and taken out of context.
Let's think about it. I don't. Hey, me, pro wrestler, that makes most of my money off the merch that I sell based off the match or angle that I do on this show. I don't want a live gate. I'm sorry. I don't want merch as being part of the gate. I just want. I don't even want ticket sales. I just want to sell my IPPV. What?
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah. That'll make you a lot of money.
Stupid.
Yeah. You'll definitely be getting more than like $25 or $50 in a handshake. Definitely in a hot dog. Definitely. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't even know where we're at right now, but
we went through Charlotte, and I guess now we'll move on from there. But shout out to Charlotte and Rhea. They had a kick-ass match. So from there we end up having Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. It's like a 7-8 minute match, and like we talked about it earlier with in comparison to Roman versus Edge, like Lashley beat the living dog shit out of Kofi, and Kofi was selling, and he had one whole spot, and then they cut him off and then beat him. And I thought to myself, wow, this is like the match that we had thought that we had wanted with Kofi and Lesnar. And I gotta say, it would have been better than had he just beat him in a few minutes, but we still would have not been happy. Like, looking at it from that lens, like we would have been less pissed off, but we still would have been pissed. So, but yeah, like I thought that like Lashley, this was like the most menacing I think I've ever seen him in WWE. I can't speak to his Impact time. I heard he was a killer there, but on the main roster, this is like one of the best like things I've ever seen him do as far as like looking dominant, looking like just a unbeatable, unstoppable athlete. So, you know,
I had a birthday last week too.
Happy birthday! How was he? 40? What?
45.
Wow.
Great shape.
You ever hear Meltzer talk about him as far as like Meltzer told him like, yeah, man, I don't
eats what he wants.
I eat what I want. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. Just work out. Like,
yes.
God, yeah. Different.
All right. So so I guess we move on. Oh, you have anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're setting him up for Goldberg.
Think so? Or know so?
That's the
word?
Wire.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's the word on the street. So that's why this Kofi Kingston match was done in the way it was done.
Short, because it gets you expecting. Okay. Hey. Short, intense. It's not like I want Goldberg to go 33 minutes. You know? So whatever.
I wish there was something cooler to do with Goldberg than just send him out there to lose to the champion every time. But win it.
Why can't he just come out there and just like kill Ziggler like he did a few years ago? Like, why don't you do it to someone else? That'd be cool.
Right. Or do like a tag team match with somebody or something. Give Goldberg a friend.
I don't know if I'm ready for Goldberg to be in the Sting role. I don't think I'm ready for that.
Hey, the Sting role is pretty great.
Yeah, but look, the Sting is a better wrestler than Goldberg. So that's why Sting can do that, because Sting's way better than Goldberg in the ring. We can't be risking having Goldberg trying to carry some other guy like that, or not carry him, but like be the emotional linchpin of Goldberg. Like, Goldberg is supposed to be a man of war, not like some, you know. I've taken up a ward. I've taken up a surrogate son. Like, that's not Goldberg.
I don't know.
Also,
this is a different Goldberg. This is Dadberg.
Dadberg. You know? But the thing is, like, all them dudes in WWE on the main roster too old to be Goldberg's son.
That's true. They're more like Goldberg's nephew.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
Yeah. One time.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I guess it's like the last bit of like real fun or overachievement on the card. Raw men's tag team title match. It is Omos and AJ Styles versus the War Raiders. I gotta say, I enjoyed the shit out of this match when it was happening. Like, AJ Styles is still fucking great. War Raiders still great. Omos is super charismatic. And, like, they all played up each other, and AJ was bumping around like crazy. War Raiders, who I haven't seen since they had came back. I really didn't even know they had came back from the injury that I think it was Eric that was hurt, right? So like it was fun to see. It was fun to see those three. And Omos, and like I like him. I like him. He's super charismatic. He can't wrestle a lick right now, but like that doesn't really matter. He's gigantic. He has presence. He has charisma. I don't know what this means as far as like what his future holds, but he got something. It seems like there's a dollar sign on his forehead. Like, at least, I'll put it this way: if this was 1985 or through 1995, he'd be a millionaire in a year. I don't know about these days. But I don't know about today in 2021. But back in the day, he'd be raking it in.
Hogan would have dropped a leg on him like across the country on the house show loop.
Hogan, Sting, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. He would have made so much money. So much money. He'd been working them loops. He'd been working them A loops and B loops with Hogan and Savage. Oh man, he'd be raking it in, bro. Not wrestling worth a damn.
Yeah, just being big and black.
It would have worked though.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I like him, but I don't know.
Is it a meme? Is it a meme?
Could be. Could very well be. Because like I said, he can't wrestle worth a lick right now. But I mean, Braun Strowman can wrestle worth a lick. And he got better. So, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But like, as far as AJ doing most of the work around him, I think this, as a team, they work. They're when I've seen them the 2 times or the three or 4 times I've seen them, I've enjoyed what they've done. And this was especially a reminder of like, wow, like AJ, and especially like the team work they did. They did a spot where the War Raiders are on the floor outside. AJ hits the opposite ropes, comes back, and basically does an assisted, like he basically like posts off of Omos, goes over the top ropes, and hits a Hurricane Rana onto one of the War Raiders. And I was like, I didn't know AJ would ever think of doing no shit like this in this stage. And it was like, yo, it was like I didn't think he would. I didn't think he would do no shit like that no more. And then like, him and the War Raiders doing all the War Raider stuff. Like it was fun while it lasted. Like I ended up giving this match probably like 3.25, but it was fun because I was not expecting a good match out of that. I thought it was going to be just a manly stupid thing, but they were fun. It was real fun. Like this is a match you would expect to see out of like some big NBA center or somebody like on AEW. Like you expect to see like Joel Embiid on AEW in this kind of match, not Omos with AJ Styles and War Raiders. It was shocking.
Update: they brought back Keith Lee tonight to answer an open challenge from Bobby Lashley. They beat Keith Lee, and then Goldberg came out and challenged Lashley. And so he was there to set up.
Are you serious, bro?
Yes, that is so dumb.
So last time Keith Lee was on TV.
Bro, they're blowing so much shit like on this week. Like why? Like, bro, you could have like you have to like this is the company that it's funny. They milk like the wrong shit and then like put the fucking like the pedal to the metal on or they slow the wrong shit down. Like, bro, Lashley could have killed like 2 more niggas before this nigga showed up. and pick someone else other than Keith Lee.
So, remember, last time Keith Lee was on TV, he was going to be...
Get out of the way, Keith. The more important star is here.
So real talk. Okay, so it was either February or March when Keith Lee was taken off TV, and he was taken off TV at the last second, and he was going to become the U.S. champion. And then that didn't happen, so then they put it on Riddle. And Riddle was supposed to take that pinfall in that triple threat match. So he comes back after being gone for roughly 5 months. And they immediately beat him. With the dude that he was going to take the U.S. title off of. That you could get a pay-per-view match out for that. That's stupid.
Look, they don't like them. They don't know what to do with them. They never have. They never will. Flat out. Like,
apparently.
Like, yeah.
That's wild. All right, so the opener of the show was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It had Naomi, who was good, Tamina, who was Natalya, who was all right, Asuka, who was Asuka as usual, Liv Morgan, who was Liv Morgan. Every time I see Liv Morgan, I'm like, she got something. If she was in AEW or if she was like in NXT still, like they would do something with her, but. Maybe they tease like they want to do something with her so the crowd likes her, but like after I saw them make her like a random lesbian, like I don't know. I don't know what to believe. So I have very low hope.
I saw the documentary. Like if you have never watched the Liv Morgan documentary on the WWE Network, it is fascinating. To see how the backstage culture works in WWE, how shit like can get yanked from underneath you on a whim. Like
what, for example?
There was like she thought she was having a match up until the very last minute, but like they didn't want her gimmick, her quote unquote new gimmick, to be seen yet, so they yanked her at the last minute. It was only a dark match or some shit like that, but
okay.
It was they were leading up to it for weeks in the program, like just the disorganization. Michael Hayes just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Like it's a look into modern WWE. This showed me that. Like I was like, oh man, they're never doing anything with her. Ever.
Oh yeah,
like and she's like quietly like been around a while, and she's been around for
almost 5 years now.
I think she is like
27
now.
Almost
she's
27 now. Almost 4 years.
And you know how it works in WWE, so she could be up out of here.
She could be back in NXT like how they're doing Mandy Rose apparently. So also in the match, Alexa Bliss doing the Fiend stuff. There was a spot where she's up, where Zelina's up on the ladder. Zelina was in some great gear, by the way. Up on the ladder, about to win. And Alexa climbs up on the same rung she's on, the same level rung, and then hypnotizes her and then makes her climb down as opposed to, I hypnotized you, so I'll just grab the briefcase? Whatever. Just dumb. The Fiend is going to win, put him in a coffin, or worst gimmick thing, or whatever the fuck worst of the year awards that we have at the end of this year again for...
Hey... You know what I just realized about Keith Lee? They beat him in Texas. Like,
oh my god, they did beat him in Texas.
They beat him in Texas.
Wow.
Sorry.
Hey. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty much the card. Like the top of the card, good show. Actually, like it's an uneven show. Like I would say. The main event is disappointing for a lot of people that watch a lot of wrestling. But the semi-main event and the Charlotte match is awesome. The Kofi match, if you wanted a great match, is not for you. If you know what their disposition is on both of them, then like the match works. So yeah, like I think that the last two pay-per-views were way better than this, but like there's still some good stuff on this card. So I give it one thumb up and leave it at that.
Yeah, man.
I think most people like that. I think a lot of people, the average wrestling fan or whatever else, a non-hardcore fan, will like the main event a lot more than us that have seen WWE do run-ins and shit like that, and you know, in rough bumps and all that kind of stuff for years. I think there's a huge difference in opinion on that. It's polarizing.
Did you know if you pay your nanny or sitter more than $2,300 a year or $100 a week, you owe taxes? When Care.com HomePay does your nanny taxes and payroll, we make sure to find all the tax benefits you qualify for, up to $8,000 a year. From tax filing to payroll, Care.com HomePay has it all covered. When you sign up for Care.com HomePay, we handle your nanny payroll, W-2s, everything you need. Try our service for free for the first month. Go to homepay.com to get started.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you something like we had that wasn't polarizing. AEW Dynamite. Awesome show. The first night of Fyter Fest, headlined by Darby Allin and Ethan Page in a coffin match, which lived up to the billing. Yeah, man, there was a lot on the show that was just like even in a way that the Miami crowd didn't give, like they gave a lot in Miami, I feel like, but going out into a bigger building somewhere else in the country, even though, I feel like I have to make this clear for people too. Like Florida is like a couple different states in one. So even though they were in Miami, like
Florida's
it's
3
not
states.
Jacksonville, like which is not Tampa. So
Florida is basically 3 states, right? Or actually, okay. This is how I feel about Florida, right? You got Miami, or basically Broward County and Dade County that house Miami and Fort Lauderdale. You're
gonna break out the college football.
No, I'm not gonna do the state of Miami. I'm not doing that. No. You basically got like South. You basically got Miami-Dade, Broward, Fort Lauderdale. That's itself, right? You got South Florida. That's not there. That's not that. Then you have like Polk County, like Orlando or that country area there. That is basically like South. Or then you have like above Ocala, which is more or less like South Georgia, and then you have the Panhandle, which is South Alabama. That's how I would basically describe Florida as.
Yeah. Yeah, but getting them into Texas, and it was just like everything just seemed more over. Pretty much like, just look up and down the show. It was just excitement everywhere, from Ricky Starks winning the FTW title, Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black, Hangman and Kenny and the Dark Order facing off with the Elite. Christian Cage and Matt Hardy got a pretty good reception here.
Better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, and the match worked out. We'll get to that in a minute. But Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, and Wheeler Utah, who came in, and they're pursuing him hard, it looks like. Yuka Sakazaki, Tokyo Joshi Pro, lots of subscriptions out there in Cedar Park, Texas, just outside of Austin. They follow they were down for the Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how like nobody's supposed to care about these Japanese women, and then like outside of Britt Baker, they are consistently the most over women in that, like on the show every single time, whether it's Yuka or it's Riho or it's Hikaru Shida. Like it's amazing how that works out. It's almost like this is a wrestling crowd that really enjoys good wrestlers wrestle.
Fun, very funny. So to get it started, they had Jon Moxley and Carl Anderson had a match for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. It was pretty good. Mox, his hair situation is, I don't know what it is right now. Like he looked like he cut it off and let something grow back. I don't know. Maybe he needs to lose a hair versus hair match. But
I think he already lost it. I think he already lost that match. It just wasn't on TV.
Non-televised event.
Like it was weird because he was always somebody we saw. Like he was clearly thinning. He's been thinning for years. But like I don't know why he shaved it and decided to come back as like balding man as opposed to just bald. I don't know. But like it is weird to see like somebody with like such a freshly shaven beard with like lined up nice, and then it's like, and then you just buzz, and then you basically like he probably had a pair of safety clippers and then like opened the guard and then just like and I was like, hey man, like maybe just take a razor, maybe just take a straight razor and just shave all that and come home. Just come home. Come home. But then again, you can't really just be like, we can't just, I was about to say somebody's name, I'm not going to say the name, but you can't just be telling white dudes, just shave your head and just like rock it bald, because like depending on where you from and depending on your politics, that might lead people to believe that you are a white supremacist. So like I understand why people are hesitant. I understand why some of our white brothers are hesitant to come and just just fool Michael Jordan.
Look, John Moxley getting the privilege that we all, wish we could enjoy, which is balding in peace, in public, So, he beat Carl Anderson. They had an all right match.
I enjoyed the match. I probably gave it like 3.25.
Yeah. What else? Archer basically laid the challenge down for Moxley, which they will have a Texas death match next week in Texas. So, I thought there's a slight chance Lance Archer could win, but we'll see.
It's in Dallas, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, Cedar Park is by Austin. I'm thinking it's Dallas, because why else would you put Archer in? Obviously, it's Texas, but if you put him in Dallas area,
you know what? I think it is because WWE is there tonight. So
yeah, if you put him in the Dallas area, he's a Dallas guy. That's the reason why they put him on the A block of the G1 2 years ago. To me, the crowd's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a hot match, and obviously, given what they did in Japan, 2020, I think they're gonna have a great match. I think it'll be super over, and I think they're gonna just go nuts, and it's gonna be another one of those Moxley death matches. So yeah.
Yep. So Andrade was backstage.
Glad he's back. Very glad he's back.
Yeah. Andrade was backstage with Alex Abrahantes, and they mentioned that Andrade has permission to win championships everywhere. So that was their way of telling you that he's going to be fighting Kenny Omega. There's a segment that was recorded and it's online, and it got circulated to where people in Mexico could watch it. Because Lucha Blog sent it out. It's Conan, Don Callis, Andrade, and Kenny, and they're talking amongst each other, pretty much promoting the match.
Triple Mania is in August, right? Late August? Yeah.
I think it's August 14th or something.
Okay, yeah.
So Andrade interrupted. He asked where the Death Triangle was. So,
yes.
For the reservations I've had about Andrade so far, that should probably break him out of the funk, because it's one thing that you ain't gonna do is if you wrestle Rey Fenix, Rey Fenix is a can't go back guy to me. He ain't about to let you come out here and slip, slack, nothing. You gonna have to work, and I think the pressure's on Andrade right now. A lot of people are looking at him
that's fine.
So
look, man, it's think of that combination of those four. I'm not worried. I'm fucking excited. This is what I wanted.
This is where it's at.
I've wanted Andrade versus Phoenix for years, so I'm ready. I watched the show probably less than 2 hours ago when he pulled up the tablet, and I saw that, and he's I'm looking for Death Triangle. I was I did not. The Boyd household did not erupt into joy, but the hands did go up like Rocky on top of the City Hall. I was yes, let's do this.
Yo, they just had. I just got a message from Muzza. They jobbed out Cross to Jeff fucking Hardy with a roll up and feet on the rope. It's over. He's the NXT champion right now. It's over. He's finished. James is sitting in disbelief.
What are they doing? He can't beat Jeff fucking Hardy?
Unbelievable.
First off, don't book the match. The NXT champion can't beat Jeff Hardy in 2021? They didn't even when's the last time Jeff Hardy was on TV? Or not TV, but on pay-per-view?
Bro, I don't know.
WrestleMania, maybe?
Is Vince already bored with him already?
I don't know.
Scarlett's not with him either.
I don't know if that's I wouldn't say that's a negative.
I would, because if she's not there, he's dead in the water.
I don't know about that. All I know is as far as presentation for NXT, Cross is better when the less she's involved. But that's NXT. The main roster is different. So
Ricky Starks beats Brian Cage for the FTW title. It was a little sloppy in the beginning.
Fun ass match. They had to work them, and they still worked the match, even though Cross, or not Cross. I got Cross on my mind, but Starks is clearly the heel and Cage is the babyface, and the crowd didn't give a good goddamn about whatever they laid out. AEW and Tony Khan and Brian Cage and Taz laid out. They loved them some Ricky Starks that night, and screwing and the whole entire Team Taz screwing Brian Cage. They didn't give a damn about that. They erupted in joy. This was like
Darktown.
Hey, but you know, the crowd doesn't do what you want, but it's a disaster, right? It's a disaster and the crowd don't do what you want. They were fucking happy. Hey, like, that's not the worst thing in the world for the crowd to be hot for something, even if you didn't plan for it. That means they can change course.
You know what?
They didn't pull out the beach.
I think they did plan for that.
They didn't pull out they didn't pull out the beach balls. They didn't start doing the wave. They didn't talk about how the fucking FTW title looks ugly because it's orange and black. No.
That's funny.
They just wrestled, and the crowd was excited for one guy that they weren't supposed to be, but they were excited for the match. And then when that guy won via cheating, they still erupted in cheers.
Yes.
As opposed to, you know, chanting for CM Punk. But these are the toxic fans.
Yeah.
These are the toxic fans.
The ones they're talking about, too.
These AEW fans are every bit as bad and terrible as these main roster fans. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man. If you say so.
Stop the cap. So the funny thing with Ricky Starks winning it is now the Fuck the Wife Championship. So that's going to be pretty funny to see Cage try to either fight back through with Team Taz, or maybe, you know, since he's a babyface, they can do this Kenny Omega Brian Cage match for your boy. After that, it was Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black. I'm digging this whole feud with these guys.
This is great. This is great.
Look, like, I don't really like Malachi Black can pretty much cut whatever he's saying on the Tron. I'm like, all right, whatever. Bring your ass out here.
The part
but Cody was awesome. Cody has a look in his eye that he hasn't had all year.
I even like the Malachi Black meander thing because it eventually reached a point. He was like, look, man, I knew a guy that had a prize horse, and then one day he killed the prize horse. He shot it. He took it out and took it out back and shot it. And he asked him why, and he said, "Well, one day I looked in the horse's eyes and I knew that it was crippled and it was done. So I put it out of his misery." More or less what he said. And he's like, "Last night or the other night, I looked in the Arn's eyes, and more importantly, I looked in your eyes, and you're fucking done." And then, sure enough, Cody was like, "Come take another look."
Yeah.
And then Malachi Black said, "I thought you never asked someone." I'm glad you said that. Lights out. Show up on that, man. And they pulled apart. Dude, I love this. I love this. Like, I really did. Like, this was desperately needed for Cody. And this was like, instead of with most of these acts that we've had in that are ex-WWE/NXT, where they come in, it's like there's an adjustment period. They're 2 for 2 with Black. They're 2 for 2 with them. So, and when they pulled them apart and then went to commercial, I was like, God damn it, I wanted to see him actually fight, which is like saying something, because like it's Cody in a white suit with a white 3-piece suit with a gold tie and a brooch.
I like that suit.
It didn't go look at that suit again. I think he needed to get that tailored a little more tightly compared to what he normally wears. Maybe it's just me, but whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And it's off to a good start. Like, I can't wait. I actually can't wait to see this match. And like, he did point out, like, hey man, you are a kickboxer. You're accomplished. You took out a 62-year-old man. That works for me. He's despicable.
Yeah. Then after that, it was a little funny segment with Tully and Santana and Ortiz. They threatened to beat him up with the slapjack. They acted like they were going to hit him in the head, but they just tapped him on the head to play with him because they're good guys.
It was a fake crowbar.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They were trying to. Yeah, it was plastic. But bro, my whole thing is like, tell that to the cops when he has a heart attack.
Look, that man, like, Tully, like, yeah, I was gonna say he. I'm just gonna let the joke hang. Y'all can figure it out.
Like, so. Oh no! Oh no!
I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked.
Help! Police!
So, up next, Hangman Page comes out. So he's introduced by Shivani, and he said that Omega and Page was what the fans wanted to see. Page said he always wanted to be AEW World Champion, and he came close, but he failed. Dark Order's right that he still needs that championship, and he was about to challenge Kenny, but Don Callis cuts him off. Was like, "You don't want to do that," and Don Callis soaked in the booze as he came out there with Matt and everyone except Carl Anderson, pretty much, because Carl Anderson just had finished getting his head bust.
Yeah.
And he asked Matt Jackson was like, "Let me get this mic from Don Callis," and he rolls in the ring. And he asked, "Hey man, if you remembered him, your best friends that you abandoned," said that man's a sad, lonely drunk who has no one to blame but himself. The Young Bucks really ain't with that drinking shit. And then, he said that Hangman Page was going to be the next wrestling tragedy, and I fucking lost it. So from there they got into a fight. Hangman fought Matt. They need to do that as a singles match at some point, just because they're always like there's something always there.
That's been the only part of the Hangman and like Young Bucks thing that like I even get any like real they dislike each other. This isn't some like convoluted thing. Like they're clearly annoyed at each other. And they're the only two people that are, and Matt Jackson, the only person that's ever like really done a good job of verbalizing it ever. Because Nick don't really talk. Hangman don't want to talk because he wants to make faces and brood and drink. So yeah, they should do that match eventually.
So the Elite basically attacked him. Kenny was about to knock his ass with the belt, and then the Dark Order ran out and stopped him, and then Hangman said he's not leaving until a match is made, and then Kenny agreed. He was like, "But we're gonna up the ante. It's gonna be a 5-on-5 elimination match between the Dark Order and the Elite." Hangman said that if he wins, he wants the title shot, and he wants the Dark Order to get a title shot. Big cowboy shit chance, and then Kenny was like, "Cool, but we don't get anything out of that." And he said, "If y'all lose, then y'all can't challenge me." And then Omega asked Page if he's afraid to fail in front of their fans, and he's going to take an extra. He's going to take pleasure when he turns the cowboy shit chance into belt collector chance.
Awful.
If you're cool with that,
just awful.
Yeah. I thought Ken was great in this segment.
No, he was great. That line was awful, and he knew it. And not only was it awful, he knew it was awful. He said that he did that shit to be like, wait, you can't chant that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like, he did it on purpose, but I'm like, I wouldn't even have joked like that, because it's like, that's just,
Yo.
But yeah,
so
like,
5-on-5.
bro, it's enough with your terrible hair and your terrible fucking facial hair, and Nick looked ridiculous again this week.
Yes. So the 5-on-5 match, they haven't announced that they're doing it, but I hope they do over the top rope eliminations in this.
So you basically want a Japanese elimination match?
Yes, no question. Like, so my point.
I'm like,
it
always makes it better.
Like, you got two stipulations, right? So Hangman's here to get his shot, and also the Bucks would have to put their belts on the line. Mm-hmm. This match should be about the Bucks. Like, really, like this should be Kenny and Hangman getting eliminated rather early, as far as like they can both like clothesline each other over the ropes or something, right? And then John Silver or whoever the fuck you want to pick has to go on a run to essentially win while they're shorthanded to get Hangman's shot, to get their own tag title shot, however you want to do it. Like, that's how I would do it. Because you make
the New Day running the gauntlet to get Kofi to WrestleMania.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, and you got to get basically that moment of Hangman thinking he fucked himself again, like when he's eliminated. Like, I don't even control my own destiny, but like these ragtag motherfuckers he's been hanging out with come through for him. Well,
I could see that, because ultimately, like, yes, it would be like they both go over. Like, if you get Kenny and Hangman to go over the top rope at the same time, it's fine. Or you got to have Hangman outlast Kenny, or at some point in the match best Kenny, and then get a tag out or whatever. Like, at some point they have to wrestle each other in that match. They either have to go to a fight to a standstill, or Hangman needs to beat Kenny, and then however they eliminate each other is fine if they go through that route or whatever. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but yeah, like, I think that the idea that, like, because you have to kind of hype whatever the Young Buck Dark Order match would be. So yeah, like having that come down to that and they eliminate him to set up another match, like yeah, that works. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. What'd you think about this whole setup? Because we had quite a lot to say last week about this.
Liked it. I like the matches it's set up to hype up the build towards it because I thought they were just going to like, yeah, let's do the match and we'll see you in we'll see you in a number of weeks and then like what was I gonna say? We'll see you in a number of weeks and along the way like we're gonna fuck up Dark Order. And I was like, okay, that's not really enough. I need to see like because all this the only reason why Hangman is as hot as far as a title match is because of like his interaction with those other three. So it's like they gotta like focus on that to get people like we hate this guy, we hate these other three guys so much we want Hangman to win a title. Even if it's like, all right, after he wins the title, then what? But you can worry about that later. I still wouldn't have him become the champion, but whatever. The story of
I'm kind of warming up to it. Personally.
The story of he's afraid to fail. I just think it's too weak for me personally. I'm like, okay, you're afraid to fail? Like what? What? I just find it to be like, I don't know. I find that I think in general, like people win and lose all the time in wrestling. Like what? Like I just find it to be like, are you really that weak minded? But whatever.
I once made a song called "Scared Out My Mind," right? And it was like scared. The hook on the song went "Scared Out My Mind," trying to get it right, and it was almost about being crazy enough to believe in yourself. And I think that's kind of Hangman. So maybe I should submit this for a video package or something.
Maybe. I'm
kind of warming up to it. I'm
warming up. I am. The feud, as far as the interaction of the Kenny and the Elite and Hangman or the Dark Order, or sorry, whatever you want to say, like those two teams that are surrounding Kenny and Hangman, that all works. I just think the actual singular character motivation of Hangman, I just think is like this weak. Like, just leave that to the side and say, I just want to beat you to prove that I'm better than you because you beat me back in November, or also like, I've lost everything fucking with y'all. I'm through with y'all. I'm going to prove to y'all that I'm past y'all. Like this stuff about like self-confidence, I just find to be like ridiculous. Like the unself-confident top babyface wrestler or top of the card babyface wrestler like that. Watch. You sound like a fucking sucker. You just do.
I've referenced this before when it comes to Hangman. Maybe like the end of 2019, I was saying that. So I was like, he just resonates like kind of with a younger demographic, kind of like that, in a way that's not going to relate to it. We may be just past the cutoff point to really be down with Hangman the way we're supposed to be.
I mean, I've called him the emo cowboy on here before.
Yeah.
I just like, I see the crowd go crazy for him, but it's like, he don't talk for himself. He mopes around. Like,
this week.
Well, not this week, but for the last, fine. Like, yeah. Okay, aside from, so about a year, so between like almost a year between each other, like he'll actually talk for himself. Like, okay, that's your thing. They doing a lot of good stuff. They're doing more good than bad with him. And I'm not saying, actually, I don't even think they're doing much bad with him. I just think like this one little thing of like, why should I actually fundamentally root for this guy when this is get down? Like, as a person, I don't want to hang out with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, whatever. Like, he's drinking beer, so I guess it's supposed to make him relatable, or drinking liquor is supposed to make him relatable. But outside of that, it's like, yeah. Like, they do something, but like, as far as his interactions and his tension with the Young Bucks and Kenny, like, that's on point. So I have no issues with that. My thought is just like, himself. I think his path is way more interesting than actually his personality or character. Like, you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I just find that to just be like, kind of pretty bland. But like, whatever. He's a white meat babyface, so whatever. Or roughly a white meat babyface. He approximates that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it would be my guess that they do this at Fight for the Fallen. We'll see
when
whenever.
couple weeks?
That is a couple weeks. I think that's the end of this month. So not this week, not next. No, I think it's. Hold on, what's the calendar? Yeah, it will be next week. Well, next week's week 2 of Fyter Fest, and then Fight for the Fallen. So
I don't
unless
think
they want to save that for the first Dynamite of the next month.
You don't think they're going to get that to the pay-per-view?
No, that's not going to be a pay-per-view match.
Shouldn't it be?
No.
You know, what are they going to have better than that for the drop pay-per-view on the top of the card with Kenny Omega?
It's going to be Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page.
At the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
And also on TV?
No, they're doing the 5-on-5.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about the okay, fine. Yeah, I thought you were saying they need to do Hangman Kenny AEW title match on Fight for the Fallen. I'm like, what? Why? Okay, we're on the same page. The Survivor Series match they need to do on Fight for the Fallen. Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah.
Then Chris Jericho was interviewed about MJF stipulations. He said that basically some other shit about Greek mythology.
Yep.
Jericho said he'll walk through fire, run across glass barefoot to get to MJF. Then all of a sudden, Sean Spears just hit him in the face with a chair. And basically, the stipulation is Sean Spears can use a chair and Jericho can't. Calling the finish right now. Sean Spears is going to doom himself with the chair, and Jericho's going to steal one.
Any chance he can run it? He can run at Jericho who's by the ropes, and Jericho sidesteps in the chair to ricochets and pops him right back in the mouth, and he rolls him up.
Rolled up. That's the exact finish.
I hope not. That's too easy.
Spears the geek, so you might as well just, Christian Cage and Matt Hardy. Man, a couple. I believe I said on this show, James. I was like, man, just something about this feud keeps popping me every time they do a little interaction or a segment. And then I watched their Road to thing. It was a 6-minute video profile, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm fired up for the match.
So
and then the match happened.
What did they say?
Just Matt Hardy going on for about he was saying 20 years. This guy, we broke into business together, and just pretty much going through all their history with Matt Hardy's exaggerating and stuff like that. And Christian's like, yeah, man, I know this guy for a long time, and we happen to be here, and we're gonna do it essentially. But Matt's just fucking hilarious and entertaining. So they have the match, and then the match overachieves just like the rest of the feud has, and it was just a nice little thing that happened, and I was like, that was nice. And the finish was a little weird, Christian laid out after the submission hold on the outside, runs in and immediately hits his finish on a reversal. They would have to explain that one to me. Crowd went nuts for it, but I was watching it I think he could have done this better because I saw that coming a mile away. When he was when he was doing the submission, I was like, he's going to run in and then just do his finish and win.
I thought what they were doing was the Dean Ambrose, Triple H, Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley spot where you have someone, you basically beat somebody on the outside. They spend basically their last ditch effort is to get in the ring to break the 10 count, and then you immediately hit them with your finish. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought Matt Hardy was going to win. Mm-hmm. And then they were going to continue this thing, but Edge don't lose. Edge Goldberg, so whatever. Good match. I contemplate giving this 4.5, but my cutoff is 4.5 is to make that list, and I'm like, am I really going to put this on my recommended match thing for 2021? Nah, I'll leave it off. But it was a fun ass match. It was a really fun match. So
they got the top of the hour too. And this show, they were million viewers on this show. It was 1 point, I don't know what it was, but add another one to Darby. Like I was saying on the show last week, that's the guy we should be looking at. But you don't want to add that on to the Attitude Era again? No, we're not doing that. It's not Attitude Era that drew that. We're not doing that.
Okay.
No,
okay,
we're not doing that. Not in these streets. They after that, I forgot to mention. I don't know how I could, because this was the best match I saw all weekend on the Impact pay-per-view with Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan. And, pretty much treating it how AEW does. They don't talk about Kenny, what he's doing elsewhere. But I was pleasantly like actually not even pleasantly surprised. I was absolutely shocked when I saw this match. I'm not a fan of Sami Callihan. I think he's...
Who is?
I don't know.
Caleb?
Possibly. I'm not into his whole shtick. The hacker thing I wasn't a fan of when he was in NXT. He does, some hardcore type stuff and all that. I'm like, there's a million hardcore wrestlers, whatever. It's never really stood out to me.
I've seen him have one great match, and that was Slammiversary 2018 with Pentagon.
This was like that or better. So Kenny Omega defends the Impact title against this guy. Within minutes, he's hitting Kenny with the fucking pizza cutter and fucking blading him. Like, Kenny's like, basically like, I didn't watch this match live, right? I was watching the finals because duh. My timeline's exploding saying, what the fuck is Kenny doing? Why is he doing all this for Sami Callihan? Like, he's going nuts. He's carrying this guy. Like, he's doing all this stuff. And I watched the match, and I would that Sunday morning, I was like, I can't believe this guy. Like, the effort level can never be questioned with Kenny Omega, ever. Like, he will show up to no matter where it is in the world and be like, yo, I'm going to make this guy across from me look like he's on my level or he's world class or something like that. Or, like, if it's a guy like Sami Callihan, like, nobody's coming into this thinking, oh, yes, Sami Callihan. And then Kenny's like, all right, we'll do whatever style you want to do. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a bunch of V-triggers and there's going to be a one-wing angel in this shit. And I'm about to put it on the line. You're going to put it on the line. And we about to fucking do it. And that's what happened. And this was like a shock how much I like this one. And this is getting great reviews. I haven't checked the reviews lately, but it was like in the 9s the last time I saw it. But yeah, it was like it was another, like, Don Callis introduced him as King of the Death Match, and I was fucking hollering, and then he just comes out here and just like submits like, yo, whatever style, I'm the guy. Like, it's gonna be real interesting, and I'm looking forward to see what the pay-per-view did numbers wise. Compared to the last pay-per-view, which did pretty well for Impact, but even Sami Callihan couldn't stop Kenny Omega from having a great match. I know that's probably unfair, but yeah, look,
is it?
We know what it is, man. Like we know what it is. Like, it was awesome. And then Jay White came out and they did the little tease there. I don't know where that might lead to. I think it was more for Jay White to set up his program with David Finlay, which is going to be happening at Resurgence in LA. However, if you can make Kenny Omega and Jay White walk by each other and look each other in the eye, it's a pretty cool moment to put out there if you're Impact. And Impact seems to be the place where everyone descends to do their things, because Thunder Rosa showed up that same night. She had a match with Deonna Purrazzo. Yeah, so, like, I'm not really worried about who's beating Kenny Omega for the Impact title, because, like, I think a thing that we tend to do with title reigns is try to figure out who's going to beat them without kind of assessing the journey with the belt.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something fairly obvious, like with Roman Reigns, where it's like, yo, this is the fucking journey. Like, this is the destination. Like, but like in the case of Impact, it's like, yo, who you got? Like, you might as well leave it on Kenny Omega as long as you can, because this is the best thing that's happened to that promotion in how long?
It's way up there.
So, Britt Baker, she cuts a promo. She's super over out there. Miro cuts actually before that, Miro cut a promo. Just hilarious. He said after months of insecurity, a voice called out to him to tell Miro who he was. Called him God's favorite champion. TNT titles are his reward. He's willing to defend his championship with his life, and he's willing to defend it with yours. Like, he's calling himself the Redeemer, and he breaks out the new white TNT championship in the Bulgaria colors. That belt is hard.
Yeah, I like this thing where, like, seemingly every TNT champion gets their own colorway. So I think that's cool. Like, anyone that, like, has a title for a significant amount of time. So it almost harkens back to, like, the Brahma Bull and the Smoking Skull belts. So I'm with it. Yeah, I like this promo. Like, he's basically saying, like, hey, man, I've changed since acknowledging that he's changed since he came in doing the gamer Twitch gimmick or whatever else with Kip Sabian. And now he's on some other shit where he's like, I'm gonna
change his music too.
I'm a beach, yes, to some. I don't even know what that is,
bro. It's like some like epic war style, like.
But it don't even sound like it has a melody. It just sounds like horns and shit going on. And I don't mean like horns like a horn section. It sounds like people are like blowing almost like vuvuzelas and shit. like what? Like behind a drum beat. It's almost like he's like stepping to like the Roman Colosseum and you know what I mean? That's almost what it feels like.
Survive if you can.
Yeah, so basically, like, I like this part where he's like, yeah, man, like, I just fight people and I beat the shit out of them and then, like, I damn near kill them and, like, I forgive them. It's like, it's just funny to me. It's like, yeah, man, I'm just a ruthless murderer. And, like, when he talks about, like, I'm going back to my roots, it's almost like, I'm basically, like, 2014 Rusev, but I can't say that. And, like, 2014 Rusev at the end of 2014 was kind of awesome. So, yeah, more of that, please.
Yeah. Britt Baker cuts a promo. She said everybody's worried about her well-being. Britt said, don't worry about it. She's dealt with a lot. She came out the baddest bitch on the block. What's daunting is trying to keep Nyla Rose relevant. She says she's beaten Britt Baker. Britt said that doesn't matter because she's in a league of her own. She's off the menu. When she said that, I was like, man, that's a great line.
yeah, I think it was something about I think the setup was as far as saying like the food chain and stuff. Saying I'm off the menu on the food chain. Yeah.
They showed Vicky and Nyla backstage kind of responding in real time. She said Vicky has a last name that will keep her relevant for a long time in wrestling, but Nyla doesn't. And I was like, oh, like,
yeah.
And then she said with the title, she said she's the hottest promo in wrestling. Even without it, she's still the DMD. And
I think she's the hottest thing in wrestling.
Hottest thing in wrestling, yes. Yeah. And she, I think she was calling out the problems with the division without like actually saying it. She was saying the thing you ain't supposed to say.
Maybe. I didn't even think of that far, but I just like I was like, oh, thank you, Britt, for like finally saying something worth a damn for the first time in months. So I was happy that she finally like got off whatever she was on with. Like, she had cut some, like, really, like, nothing promos for a while. So she finally gave something of substance, and maybe it was because she finally had something to sink her teeth into, knowing that, like, there's a match upon her. So I was happy that we finally have gotten off of whatever that was of late, and we're on back to kind of the thing that got her over to begin with. So I liked it. It was weird that she's cutting a conflict promo while she is a heel that is over as a face. It worked because she focused on the conflict instead of all the other shit around it, so good. I thought she did a good job with it, obviously.
Nyla looks in the camera and says she's going to hand her an ass whooping world class.
I howled. World class. That world class was like, chef's kiss, that little nice extra panache.
Yeah. It was better that Nyla said it like that. Like, Sammy faces Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta's got some wins on Dark. They put a little video package to kind of introduce people who he was. I think he's done work in New Japan. I think they're hot on his trail to try to sign him because he's pretty good.
And he's a replacement for right now for Trent. So
yeah. So Sammy comes out, big babyface applause. All these Texas, motherfuckers in here. Like, you go to Texas, you over. Like, if you were a Texan, like, apparently that shit is real. Like, because that extended to Thunder Rosa on Dark Elevation. Anybody,
you gotta think, like, how often do you get somebody from your own country?
Right.
Like, we call Texas a state, but it's really its own fucking country. They got their own fucking power grid, Rich.
Yes. Sammy does a bunch of athletic stuff, and they do probably about a 3 or 4 minute match. But
it was super short. They had a way better match if they wanted to, but that wasn't the point. The point was to get Sammy over in more or less an enhancement match that didn't like completely have him eat up somebody. It was a good match.
Yep.
Good look.
QT threw his protein shake on Tony Schiavone's head. He had a red, white, and blue bowling shirt.
Bro, they was wearing Tony out the other night, boy. He was in all these interviews. Tony.
Like,
Tony. Like the group.
Yes. Yuka Sakazaki chant start, and she's wrestling Penelope Ford. Yuka had not been seen for 16 months on Dynamite.
Oh yeah, the Eliminator was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did some alright stuff. This seems like she got the win. What the fuck? Okay. Just got a message from Murray. Nikki Ash is now the Raw Women's Champion. So Charlotte, 1 day reign here.
Well,
or Nikki ASH, excuse me.
Well, I believe Nikki had won some fluke wins over Charlotte and Rhea in the build to that. So I'm assuming Rhea came out and screwed Charlotte and keep.
They had a match. They were having a rematch from last night.
Oh yeah, she cashed in. Okay, whatever.
Yep. She
cashed in. Whatever.
All right. So yeah, Yuka Sakazaki does some type of middle rope cannonball outside the ring. It's pretty cool. Penelope's hit or miss, kind of still. She's trying to get more reps in, but
she's all right.
She's all right. You could give her a sliding D and give her a big back elbow. She was hitting her with the bows. Give her a suplex and eventually she hit the magical curl splash from the middle rope. It was all right. So next week's Fyter Fest lineup, we got Dr. Britt Baker against Nyla, Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer, Jericho versus Shawn Spears, Orange Cassidy in the Blade, and the newly announced Frankie Kazarian versus Doc Gallows. Who wanted that?
They putting Frankie to work, boy.
They
asked him to do a lot with that one. A lot.
If Frankie Kazarian pulls out something from singles Doc Gallows, man, we gotta have to sing some praises for Frankie here.
More than usual.
Yes.
Yeah.
They played a video package for Rampage, and then we got the main event. The Coffin got his own entrance down to the ring. Darby Allin versus Ethan Page. I haven't felt this vindicated in a long time. This whole shit drew big. Add another one for Darby. Ethan Page, very happy for him because even if he's not great against anybody else, he is the conference rival of Darby Allin.
I thought you were going to say, even if he's only good against Darby Allin and Jordan Grace. That's what I thought you were going to say. Remember we were watching the match with her and him on Black Label Pro and shit over the years?
Yes. Because I like Ethan Page, but
I do too.
He's got a special chemistry with Darby Allin. And sometimes, your stars, it's not other stars they might have that crazy chemistry with. Maybe it's some guy that's lower on the totem pole that is there. It's your college basketball, every time Duke goes to Florida State and we're the number one team in the country, it's always a war. I don't know why, but it's always a war. So they imported this whole feud in from Evolve while never mentioning Evolve a single time on the bill, which is fucking hilarious for a million reasons. No Gabe Sapolsky action here, but after throwing each other down the steps and attacks and tag team matches on pay-per-view and handicap matches and getting thrown into the audience by Ethan Page, it came down to this.
His brothers.
Yes, it came down to this. And man, I love this match. Darby is quickly becoming one of my top wrestlers in this promotion.
I mean, outside of the established guys that we've been watching for years, I think he's my favorite AEW wrestler outside of Kenny Omega, Moxley, Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, Pac. Yeah, I would say so. Out of this new class, I like the younger class or whatever else. Yeah, I think he's definitely my favorite AEW wrestler.
This is he's a genius. He does the Bret Hart thing to start the match with the back plate, skates to the ring, and crowd goes up for them. They're fighting around the building like it's the Attitude Era, which is pretty cool. They're taking insane amounts of punishment. He takes that fucking the Ego's Edge from the middle rope to the steps, and I thought he was just broken in half. They're just like, Sting does the walk down to beat up Scorpio Sky to get him out of there, because Scorpio Sky comes out of the coffin, which is hilarious.
No, them brawling to the back when they went like Scorpio Sky is having a fucking blast doing all this stuff with Sting. You could tell he got the advantage when they were basically by the outside area, basically like to get up to the 100 section, and he has the advantage over Sting. So he gets on top of like that barricade and he starts doing the Gorilla Beast's chest, and then Sting basically crushes him on the thing, and then he grabs a fucking trash can and he bumps that nigga across the back of his head twice. I fucking howled, Rich. I was like, he hit the thing with a trash can twice, and then they went to the back. I was like, God damn it. Like, unintentional comedy is the best in wrestling, especially when it's not even like it. Like, they're doing something good, and then it's also like memeable, like gifable. Like, I just love it. That was great. And then I used to mention all the stuff in the match, like
they took off the bottom rope.
When they took off the bottom turnbuckle, via so they could then use like the hook part that connects to the post.
They're like, y'all want to see Hook? I ain't talking Team Taz.
Yeah. They did the spot where he broke Darby's chain, where Paige hooks the hook onto Darby's chain and basically like yanks it and basically drags him down as the chain breaks. At a certain point, Darby uses that hook to fish hook Ethan Page in the mouth. Page later in the match got on top, had the advantage, and like Darby escaped by bashing over the head with the thing, and he bladed. Yeah, man, this is one of my favorite AEW matches of the year.
Yeah, this is great.
Like, like I'm shocked how low the score was. Like,
yeah, I think people were flat out missing the boat on this.
Yeah,
like,
I gave it 4.25 without even thinking, and I see it's like 8, 7, and 8. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, same. Like this was like, hey, maybe if I put critical thought into this, it could go higher. But just like as a starting, I was also at 4.25. But
I love this match.
He does the finish where he does the skateboard stomp, sending Paige into the coffin, and then like I was like, I feel like something else is gonna happen. So I just kind of stuck with it there, watching, and Josh began to think, oh, that was kind of weak finish, and then I just kind of let it ride. Darby Allin goes to the fucking top rope, coffin drops through the fucking coffin, and I was like, that's the finish, Josh. Like, like that was the finish. And then he was like, my bad. Like, but yeah, man, that was incredible. Crowd was going nuts all night, adding to the show. I couldn't smell the people through the screen, James.
Neither could I with my pirated copy of the show. Neither could I.
Yeah. Like, you know, they sold out or on the verge of selling out Arthur Ashe Stadium. AEW has a lot of momentum with the tickets right now. All Out's a sellout as well. It's just like, I think AEW is really on fire right now, and they're just going to keep going. And like, they already had the best crowds. Like, this isn't a thing where
the best American crowds. Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, you know, when it's not a case where everything's just over because the fans are back and it's the first time they're back. And, you know, this is a return to the normal, like what they were doing before the pandemic. This is an extension of that.
Yeah, before they were heading to Blood and Guts for what was it, New Jersey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, where the Nets used to play. Yeah, like that's
like, this isn't a thing where this crowd's going to fall off in a month.
They're getting about where they were, you know, before the world shut down. Yeah.
So like, yeah. So really excited for that. But that was week 1.
Yeah. NXT. I think they had like six matches on the card. One was good and one was great. And then other stuff was also good, but it was really short. Like the first opening match was Ember versus Dakota. And it was a good match. Like a 3-star deal. No interference from Raquel, but Dakota just won. Like Ember made a mistake and Dakota won, and I was like, wow. I can't remember the last time Dakota Kai beat someone with name value clean in a singles match. I'd have to pull up the Cage Master to try to remember it. And I'm pretty good remembering stuff that happened on NXT because I'm seem to be the only person that can remember that kind of shit. But yeah, they had a good match. But ultimately Dakota ended up winning. After that, Xia comes down to the ring, looking mean and good, but came down to the ring and with Raquel in the ring and Dakota in the ring. Dakota thinks that she is there for her, so she goes to try to square up on, or not square up, but like go eye to eye with her. She literally walks right by her as if she doesn't exist and goes straight to Raquel, and then her and Raquel talk trash to each other as if there's some history between them. And if there is, I don't remember it. I don't remember them ever having any kind of interaction. But because Xia beat Mercedes the next week, you're getting Dakota versus Xia. Good fucking luck between those two that are that unexperienced, that have that lack of a experience in a top of the card card level match, in the Dragon Lady. Fuck Mr. Foot.
Is this a good time to bring up the 3 women that NXT lost?
Yeah, let's do that. So, they lost Shotzi Blackheart, Toni Storm, and Tegan Nox.
Okay. They cleared out, like, I don't know, like, Tegan Nox has been around a long time. Her knees can go at any time. I don't know what the rush with Shotzi Blackheart is.
She's over.
They just like her look, I guess.
No, she's like Jimmy over. Like outside of like Io, Toni Storm, and I think she might be the third most like on Google search like person in the women's division.
Yeah, I don't think that's why they made that decision, but.
Well, no, not as far as that. As far as like they see a clear appeal with her, she's the rocker girl. They love themselves for rocker girls. Like they'll put her out there, and like she's good enough to be on the main roster.
Then Toni Storm also, but an absolutely bizarre NXT career, like from the beginning. Like
they brought her up in October. They brought her up at the at Takeover 31, and. She was clearly, or not clearly, but it seemed like the table was set after that title defense that Io had to, with Candice, to then bring in Ember, bring in Toni, and eventually they were going to have a match down the road on takeovers of big matches. Toni Storm had one title match that I remember, and it was a triple threat match with Mercedes where I think they beat Mercedes. They didn't even beat Toni. I can't remember. The Io won that match. And then, like, literally the week before, or a week ago, or the show before this episode we're covering, they were setting up like they were going to do Sarray versus Toni Storm. Where she was big leaguing Sarray, saying that, like, you want a match with me, you asked Rico for a match challenge not accepted. And now she's up on the main roster. Like, obviously, is she gonna be on the main roster? Of course. But they didn't they clearly booked her as if like they were going to have time with her, and they found out like Vince showed up at the Performance Center, saw her, and was like, oh, well, of course, you see Toni Storm, if you're Vince McMahon, you're going to like, oh, she's also a good wrestler? Paul, what the fuck? What, So, yeah, obviously.
I heard someone summarize it as Toni Storm figured out the goofy lingo finally. Of the promos, and that's essentially what got her the call up.
Well, yeah, like I wouldn't say her, like, I think you'd say it was goofy run, like, NXT, regardless of, you know, however we feel about it being a indie storage closet at times, like, people do improve there. Like, Tony absolutely improved as a promo in her time since October, for being someone that was like a weak promo to someone that backstage or even in front of a crowd of 400 people, or at the time, like 50 something people, can cut a good promo and be a good heel. So, promo wise. So yeah, if that was what was holding her back from getting to the main roster, then like, yeah, like she should be pushed at the top of the card now when she gets to the main roster. Or, you know, tracked for that. I don't want to say push immediately, like she should be Goldberg or some shit, but like she should be tracked for that over the next like 6 months to a year.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Where are we left off at? I mentioned. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to talk about it as it goes on. They did 3 different segments of Cameron Grimes as the slave, as LA Knight's slave. It started out where he shows up late to the job, and he says he's a man of his word, so that's why he showed up. And what they're going for in these things are, Cameron Grimes is such a country bumpkin and has lived such a hard life that he's unaware of the life he's lived, that all the menial tasks and things that LA Knight is trying to torture him with is light work for him, because it's like stuff I did on the phone, stuff I did on the back road. Like, I want you to mow my lawn. Oh, this is a gigantic lawn. Oh, this I'll do this, and this ain't nothing to do. This is nothing. And he's annoyed at the fact that he's making it sound like so easy. Then, like, he shows back up later in like the 3rd segment, and actually he ends up, like, because he's still rich, he pays some kid to mow the fucking lawn. And he's like, no, when I ask you to do something, you do it. Don't outsource the work. And like, then he didn't pay the kid when Grimes was going to pay the kid $500 to mow the lawn, and then the kid ended up kicking LA Knight in the shin. So it's basically, I've tortured this. I wanted to make this dude a butler to torture him. Ultimately, like, I'm the one getting tortured. He's being upended. His own, you know, sick sense of self, or whatever he's trying to do, the torture he's trying to do to Grimes is coming back and actually torturing him. So eventually he'll be unbutlerfied, and then he'll probably win the belt, but we'll see. Trying to see what else we had. We had Legado del Fantasma come out for a match against, I forgot who the fuck it was.
Yeah, I didn't catch this week's.
Yeah, I see that. It's against Loomis. I forgot about that. Yeah, he has a match with Loomis. Before he runs down Loomis, and he also runs down Bronson Reed, and he also runs down Hit Row.
Death Row?
Hey, that's what they were going for. Hit Row by saying that, he says, Bronson, I have luck and skill, basically. Like, to become a champion, you need luck and skill. Bronson Reed had luck, but he doesn't have skill. And he explained the reason why, and then he said, on the other hand, Swerve has skill but no luck because he has something that I want. So with the distraction, Legado ends up beating Loomis. And then as they're going up the ramp, Legado goes face to face with Hit Row. I almost called him Death Row again. So it looks like we might get some trios action. So that'll be cool. And maybe that becomes the program, because, you know, they've been, you know, more or less like career rivals in NXT. This time is while Swerve is smartened up and got himself his own faction. So
got a gang.
Yeah, gang warfare.
Yeah. You know, this is Mayweather Marquez action right here.
It's the Mayweather versus most of his career rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get Tyler Russ versus Bobby Fish, and Bobby has Russ more or less beat until Roddy gets up on the apron, distracts Bobby Fish. Tyler Russ hits him with a a chop block, and then he works over his leg, and I think he didn't hit some finish and beats him. And eventually it's setting up Bobby Fish versus Robert Fish versus Roderick Strong. Eventually,
we gonna get the battle of who is Kyle O'Reilly's better tag team partner.
Oh yeah, we know who's gonna win too. Like Diamond Mine is the way that Malcolm Bivens explained it earlier in this show was that we have the best that money can buy. We have the best manager. We have the best fighters. He points at Roddy. We have the best coach. Points at the other guy. I can't remember his name. And then we have the best prospects. Talking about Tyler Russ. I don't think you've seen much Tyler Russ, but Tyler Russ is I know who he is. You know who he is, but like I don't think you ever. He's good. He's very good. Like they gave him a match where basically he basically went toe to toe with Ciampa last year. And like you see it, like he's really good, but he just clearly has no personality or charisma on his own. So that's when they put him with Bivens, and then like that's when they decided to come up with Diamond Mine. So him as basically like a young boy for Roddy works. And then because Roddy's not exactly like the greatest talker in the world too, you have Bivens there. So like we'll see where they end up going as far as faction, but like I like them as far as in the ring. Once the bell rings, they got it. So. Joe ends up visiting both people in the title match, saying like, obey my rules, there'll be no problems. And Cross is ignoring them. He went face to face with Cross. And then when he did it with Johnny later in the show, Johnny and Austin Theory are big dorks that are like, sure thing, Joe. I can't wait to have a match. And like, he's disgusted with how big a geek those two are. Hideki Suzuki is who I'm thinking of as the coach for Dynamite. Sorry. So then you have Saray versus Gigi Dolan, and pretty much like I guess it was like a makeup match for the fact they didn't do Saray versus Tony Storm ever.
People were crying their eyeballs out over this.
Over what?
Over the drop kick that she gave her when she clearly got her hands up.
Okay.
Do y'all not like when women hit each other hard? That's what I think it comes down to.
Like, all right. So this is what I'm gonna say to y'all. Saray with that spot, that drop kick on the bottom rope, did nothing that she has not done, that I have not seen her do probably a dozen times. Like, that's her. That wasn't no accident. That she did that exactly how she wanted to. So, if you want her to change her style, we're going to have a Hideo Itami situation. Now, I watch a bunch of Japanese women's wrestling.
Understatement.
Rich, on the scale of the wrestling that I had you watch in SEAdLINNG in those two matches, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like what was that as a spot as far as the danger in the destruction in the trauma?
Like a 6.5?
6, yeah, like a 6. So like, I'm not, look, I think Shayna Baszler has talked about this, and especially when she talks about MMA. People ask when there's like a bloody stoppage or in a match, or people are screaming for matches to end a certain way in women's matches. She has pointed out, like, people are squeamish of violence of women, regardless of if it was a man. You wouldn't have this kind of stuff. Like, they're tough. They have the same sets of nerves that we have. If when someone gets fucking claymored or whatever else, or bro kicked in the mouth, no one has an issue
at all. But
when Saray, who weighs, last I checked, less than 100 pounds less than Sheamus or one of these other 250-pound people in his muscle factory with a kick, all of a sudden it's the end of the fucking world. Nah, man, like, we have protected the women, and therefore, because we have protected the women in this way and babied the women in WWE, they don't get to have as good matches as the men do, the male counterparts. Like, there's a reason why Io Shirai is wrestling in like third gear and has been like one of the greatest women in WWE history over the last since she's ever came up. So like it's same for Asuka. If you think Asuka kicks hard now for what you've seen in WWE, you've seen the shit that she was doing in 2000 in the early 2000s or 2010s, you will be fucking floored. Like, so I'm not saying I'm not here to say anything about safety or whatever else. What I'm here to say is like we have treated them with kid gloves and treated them as like we have treated them as if they're not like tough athletes. They're fine. It's like what happened when Sasha about a year ago and Alexa, where all Sasha did was nudge Alexa with a kick when she was on the apron to get her off the apron. To clear the apron so she doesn't come in and break up whatever was happening with Bayley and Sasha. And they complained about it. I was like, if she can't take that bump, she can't be doing wrestling. Alexa is tough. She's fine. Like she throws her head at the ground for a living. She's fine. This isn't some Nia Jax reckless thing. It's not. It's fine. Contact. And she didn't even kick in. She hit her ultimately, not even in the face.
Like right. She got a hand up.
And the boot didn't even hit her. And the boot hit her like neck, chest, high chest. It didn't even actually hit her in the face. Like I didn't even see if she got a hand up because I was looking at where the impact was. I didn't even see face or neck. So relax. Like it looks a lot worse than it actually is. And I could probably say that because like I can name, okay, Mayu Iwatani does a basement drop kick like that. Shuri does a basement drop kick like that. Natsupoi does a basement drop kick like that. Saray does a basement drop kick like that. There's a number of women that do that, and the women they wrestle the next fucking day.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, that's all I got on that. But match only went like 3 minutes. Gigi, she's fine, but the match wasn't about showcasing her. It was more just getting Saray over as like wrestling woman that's a little bigger than her and like just out toughing her, and that's kind of what happened. So that's Murder's match. It wasn't like Hikaru Shida versus Aja Kong, right? Like it wasn't that at all. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to think of what was happening. Mandy Rose was on top, came out to the top of the ramp during that match. I don't know who she was watching, but it looked like it was Saray. So,
Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah. So, we talked about the Loomis match. After the Loomis match, Indy came out after and tried to carry him out the same way that he carried her after the women's tag match, championship match, last week. And, he was too heavy, so they both fell as a pratfall on the mat. And Indy went in to kick for the kiss, and then Candice ran in and stopped that shit. I was like, bro, I find like her trying to keep her horny daughter from neighborhood boy to be funny, but it's like, who really cares about this? Like, who is there a soul that actually cares about the romance that is, or they call it Windex? Does anyone actually care?
Beth Phoenix cares.
Anybody besides Beth Phoenix?
No.
Okay,
like,
thought so.
It looks weird, like these people that keep carrying each other unconscious to the back, like, and I don't know what's happening from there.
Okay, so so Beth asked her what happened earlier in the day. Asked her what happened, and her response was, "Well, he was a perfect gentleman and took care of me, and I wanted something to happen, but nothing did, and I think he wanted something to happen too." And then Beth said, "Well, you got to go for yours, more or less." And then that foreshadowed her coming out to make the save or try to carry him out, and then the pratfall thing later in the show. Whatever, who cares? Like I don't care about Indy Hartwell romance with Dexter Lumis. I want Dexter Lumis on my fucking TV. So, first match of the breakout tournament for this year, Ike Manjiro versus Duke Hudson. Do you know who Duke Hudson is, Rich?
Yes, they renamed him.
Yes.
Brendan Vink.
Yes. But I did not know it was Brendan Vink. You know how I realized it was Brendan Vink? I saw him walk out and I was like, all right, he has a beard. He looks familiar, but he's in pretty good shape. He looks familiar. And then he walked down. I was like, he looks like that dude that was with Shane Thorne that was on the main roster. And I looked around. I was like, what's his name? I can't remember his name for the life of me. So I typed in Shane Thorne on Cage Match and went to the match from last year when those two were on Raw. Typed on it. I was like, sure enough. Like,
that's the one that beat Ricochet.
That Duke, yes. I was like, that Duke Hudson dude is the Brendan Vink dude, except he's lost a lot of weight. He's ripped now. And he grew a beard hoping you forget he was Brendan Vink. I'm like, so he was in there with Ike Manjiro. Ike Manjiro's good, and he's out here working around this dude, and they beat Ike Manjiro. And I'm just like, all right, man, whatever. Like, he's tall, so I get it, but like, please don't have Brendan Vink win this breakout tournament, because like Jiro's actually like really good, and I can't wait to see what he does with like the rest of the Never division that's in NXT. So there's that. Okay, so Caden Carter ended up squashing Jesse and Aaliyah, and to set them up as potentially set them up to be contenders against Zoe and Io. They pretty much just Caden and Casey more or less had their way with Aaliyah and Jesse. They ended up beating Aaliyah. Aaliyah snaps at the end of it and basically like beats the shit out of Robert Stone.
Did you hear the news, James?
What was the news?
Aaliyah has been called up.
What?
The NXT legend is no more. She's going to be on Monday Night Raw.
Okay. Anyway, so
NXT legend. We need a summary of Aaliyah's career, James.
Not good.
She's been there since like 2013.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't think she's ever had a good match.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
I saw her on many house shows.
Yeah.
Never impressed.
Yeah. Like, the most impressive thing about her is her physique. Like, whatever she's doing with diet and exercise is working for her. She, like, every time I see her, I'm always feel like, damn, she's in better shape than the last time I seen her. But she always looks the same. Like, that's kind of like physique she has had. But whatever, like, it's time for her to come up. As far as the promo, I don't know because they didn't do much with her as far as the promos. As far as the work, she's serviceable. Like she's competent, but like she's not good either. So whatever.
She seems destined to be somebody's pin eater.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. So after she blows her stack and beats the shit out of Robert Stone, Frankie Monet comes down and tells Robert Stone and Jesse to come with her. And now, I guess it is now the Frankie Monet brand. So she got a pin eater, and she has a manager to add to her presentation. So whatever. It worked out really good for Mercedes Martinez. So God bless Frankie Monet. So Adam Cole. So earlier in the show, they did a promo with a backstage interview with O'Reilly, and O'Reilly cuts this wishy-washy, uninspirational babyface promo where he's like, you know, you win some and you lose some, and I lost this one. I know I can beat Adam Cole. I've already beaten Adam Cole, but he got to better me this time. Rewatching that match, I wonder, like, where's that guy? Because I don't see him talking about himself. And then he says, I wonder if, all the cheating and stuff we did, I wonder if I made a mistake by, wanting to get over my past with, or cut all my ties with Undisputed. And I was like, wait a second. So you had us believe in you, or wanted people to believe in you because, like, you realized you made the error in your ways, and you lose one fucking match, and now, like, your whole entire sense of self is just like in sense of purpose and sensible in belief factor and just out the window. All right, yeah. Thanks, Hangman. Thanks. You have now infected the entire babyface ecosystem of AMRES, and it's not for the better. So, Cole then comes out and says, "You see how he's wishy-washy? I told you. I am the best. He is not. He didn't say it like that, but he's like, I am the best. He is not. And like, now I'm bringing my attentions to Samoa Joe. You choked me out when we were fighting backstage. We meeting him and O'Reilly a couple weeks back. But like, you basically like, I'm getting revenge for this. It's only a matter of time. So, trying to think. Out comes Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed says,
"Man, I thought he was out of here."
To the main roster?
Yeah.
Oh. Did he do those dark matches with Cross on those same shows across it? Yeah. So, he comes out, he says, "Hey, I was the North American champion. I'm no longer North American champion, but I do see a golden opportunity in the ring, a golden ticket in the ring." He said opportunity, but I was like, you should say golden ticket.
Should have said a sweet lick.
He goes face to face with Cole, and then Joe's music hits, and then actually no. Cole goes to attack Bronson Reed. Reed thwarts it. He ends up outside the ring. Joe comes out. He goes face to face with Cole on the floor, and Cole walks away. And then he's in the ref shirt, and he's there to ref the main event, NXT title match. Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano. Kick-ass match. I ended up giving it 3 3/4. It is the best of Kross with the stuff that he does with fitting it into a Johnny Gargano match that is like, I'm just basically just running around and bumping around and working around this tree. This suplex tree anyway. This suplex striking tree. And it worked very well. Obviously you knew like Kross was never going to lose his match. But the crowd was 90% around living and dying with Johnny like he was going to become NXT champion on a random fucking NXT. And like ultimately at the end, like he got a host spot where Joe got involved. Joe put his hands on Kross because he wasn't breaking a 5 count. They went face to face, argued. So then Johnny basically got into the ring from around the backside and then ran in and hit the like a tope tornado DDT, and then got him back in the ring. Didn't get the pinfall, and then Kross hit a bunch of like elbows and suplexes and pinned Johnny. So then after that match, Joe and Kross go face to face. Joe goes to leave. Kross slaps him in the choke and chokes out Joe.
Man.
After the match, I saw people tweet about this, so I was spoiled, but I was like, I don't care about being spoiled by this match. I already know what's going to happen. Saying that people were, after the match, after the bell rung and Johnny got pinned, people got up and left in droves.
Yes.
I guess droves is like 8 people.
No, 100 people in there.
It was like 40 people in there, and like 10 people got up to leave to beat traffic, like in the Full Sail or the PC parking lot, the Full Sail parking lot. It's like, that's
they
not
have to catch a bus out of there.
That's not leaving in droves. It's like it's 10 people, whatever. Like, look, if it was me, I would have left. But it's like whatever. Like what like, Samoa Joe versus Kross. Like that's a cool match in theory because Joe can make you want to watch him fight anybody. It can make you want to watch him fight a phone book. But like it's still Kross and Joe. Like unless they're gonna have the match, I think that like Joe would have had like. With Kenta Kobashi, it's not gonna happen because I gotta tell you something. Karrion Kross is not Kenta motherfucking Kobashi, so it's not gonna happen.
True. It's also 2022.
That too.
Almost.
Samoa Joe ain't Samoa Joe, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
I hear Samoa Joe has had a stare down with like 5 different members of the roster. So,
okay, so officially, the count, he has shot 3 angles of stare downs. It is Kross, it is Adam Cole, and it is Pete Dunne. Also, I got to mention the Pete Dunne thing. Pete Dunne cut a promo saying he still wants a match with Kross, pointing out how he had him dead to rights in that 5-way match at TakeOver. He had no answers. I'm the best technical wrestler, I'm the best technician in the world. I'm also the baddest man on this roster. So then, after he says best technician, in comes, also Lorcan is with him while he's cutting his promo, during this interview. But in walks, Thatcher. Thatcher said, "You said you're the best technician and you're the baddest man on the roster. Which one is it?" And he's like, "Why don't you come find out?" Then all of a sudden, from off camera, comes running in Ciampa, and they start brawling in the back. So you're going to get, the add to this tough white man division, you're about to get Thatcher and Ciampa versus Lorcan and Dunn. And I can't wait for that match. They're finna beat the shit out of each other. So I'm excited for that match. I think it's next week. All right. So that's NXT from this week. It was fine. It was not nearly as good as the shows they've done over the past 3 weeks before.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to do, James.
What's that?
Hit the music.
Okay, so we have one show to talk about, that's Stardom, and then the second show we're going to talk about is SEAdLINNG's July 11th show in Korakuen Hall. This is the 25th anniversary of Naoya Takahashi, so we'll get to the Stardom first because there's only 2 matches to really talk about. The second match on the card, Tam Nakano versus Konami in a singles match. Rich, you did not watch this match, but are you willing to take a guess on what happened in this match?
A lot of kicking.
Oh, I mean, as far as who, the decision.
Oh, a draw.
Yes, you are correct. A 15-minute time limit.
I just did a random guess.
Yeah. It's shocking how predictable that is. So you mentioned that last week that they have had 29 draws, and I thought that's kind of low. So then I looked at it, and actually to that date that we just talked about, to last weekend's shows, so the 11th show, the 10th show and 11th show of July, this year they've had 29 draws. Rich, they have had, at that point in time, I think it was 53 shows?
Yes.
So, yeah, I forgot the number. So it's actually less than 1-1. So it's actually like better than I thought it was, because they do so many damn draws. But I looked it up. They have had 3 shows this year that had 2 draws on shows.
So they have more draws than NXT has ladder matches.
A lot more.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot more. So,
WWE.
Yeah. So, but that match was great. I ended up giving 3 3/4. Just a kick fest. You will love this match. Whenever you get around to watching it, but like Konami, they roll around the ground and they basically fight for side control. Not side control. They fight for they roll. I don't even want to say what they were fighting for, but they were rolling on the ground. Then they get up and then Konami kicks her when she's seated, and then she sits down next to Tam. I want one. And then Tam gets her and obliges and kicks her as hard as Shuri would kick somebody. And then Tam sits down and says, "All right, you started this, bring it." And then Konami winds up the kick, and she doesn't kick. She instead back kicks Tam directly in the fucking face. So, like, when people talk about the Saray and Gigi Dolan shit, I'm just like, bruh, like, I see this shit like every other match in Japan. Like, what? Anyway, so...
What is the story here?
Yeah, so, like, no one's taking liberties. Like, relax. This was planned. This was agreed upon. So, then from there, they end up outside the ring, and, like, Saki's helping Konami cheat. They get back in the ring, and... Konami goes to work on her arm a lot, and Tam ends up thwarting, and then they basically have a forearm battle, and then they start kicking they kick the shit out of each other. Suplexes starts getting thrown around, and by the end, Tam ends up looks like she's dead to rights. Like as the time is winding down, and like Konami's about to hit the Triangle Lancer. She escapes by turning into a schoolboy. She gets up and kicks her head out or off, and then Tam goes as the time expires, gives her a huge bridging German suplex, and the clock runs out. They wrestle each other in the Grand Prix in the same block, so this was a preview for that. So, like, I've always been someone that, like, when I was thinking of, like, we talk about AEW, we talk about, like, who should be the next champions or whatever else. We talked about it. Like I've always thought, like even a couple years ago, I thought like when Tam was the white belt, who would I want to see her defend the belt against? And like it was a lot of Konami and Jungle. So like when last year's Grand Prix match they had was 3 3/4 as well, and they also did the same spot from that match where Konami's on the second rope and basically gives a second rope superplex, but it's not a vertical suplex. It's like a guillotine vertical suplex. It just looks gross. Like in the Grand Prix match, actually they both landed on their necks when they did it. But this time they actually did it right. And then there's a chokehold German suplex that Konami hit on Tam, like a bunch of just violent stuff, just violent stuff. But it was fun. And then the main event of this match of this show was the SWA title match, Shuri versus Unagi. This is playing off of their match from the end of February when it was the last match of Unagi's 7 match trial series where she wrestled 7 wrestlers and all 7 wrestlers wrecked her in singles matches. At the end of that match, after Shuri beat the dog crap out of her, she said, "You have some potential, but you are far, far, far away." And ever since then, Unagi has been leveling up, steadily making her way, making progress, having better matches, putting together more consistent work. And this match goes 19 minutes. And in this 19 minutes, Shuri did a Bret Hart level carry job with someone who is good in trios matches, good in tags, but as a singles is not really someone that should be going longer than 10, 15 minutes tops. Went 19 minutes with her, carried some of her stuff that doesn't look that great compared to Shuri, who like everything looks like it hurts, and bumped for her, carried her along. The finish of this match, I thought this was a booking success because it shows us the progression that Unagi's getting better and kayfabe, and also like as far as technical wrestlers getting better. But to do all that, Shuri has to sell for her all of her stuff that like could hurt Shuri by going that long, like the Battle Angels Kenny Omega joke. But Shuri ends the match by beating up Unagi so bad that Unagi's on her hands and knees, and then Shuri fucking punt kicks her head off. And the ref has to stop the match for a KO. I love this match. I end up giving it 3.5. I love this match. I just, we in One Nation Radio, we are big Shuri fans. This is a match you'd be like, look, that's impressive to be able to carry somebody that should not be going 19 minutes that long, and then like it doesn't hurt yourself, and then at the end you come out looking like a fucking killer. It was great.
So, yeah.
Thoughts?
I was going to ask if there was a New Japan counterpart for Shuri, who would it be?
Ooh, I wouldn't say Minoru Suzuki because he eats people up too much, and his persona is just so outsized and charismatic. I would say I say the charisma be on point and how like he's so scary. But I think that like Shuri is so giving in matches that is like I don't think that works. And I'm trying to think of a parallel to New Japan.
I've got one, and it may not necessarily be the wrestling style per se, but you talk about somebody that has kind of had a career somewhere else that kind of came in and was instantly like known as one of the best people. No, not known. That was known as one of the best people before they came in, and then it was only a matter of time before they started getting put in main events. I think there's a lot of Shingo comparisons to be made with Shuri. With Shuri.
Shuri. Here's the thing with Shuri. Shuri can do anything, and she could be a heel, she could be a babyface, she could be a comedy act, she could be a killer. She's super charismatic. She was one of the best wrestlers, wrestlers in Joshi. It's just like she was just a freelancer and worked so many different promotions that no place really pushed her at the top of the card. Like, so but it wasn't because of talent. It wasn't because of lack of talent. No one saw it. Like, nah, she's been great for years. It's just like you know, like in SEAdLINNG, for example, when they were using her, she would work in like the same level of like Ryo Mizunami in SEAdLINNG, where she's working basically like the third match, like right before you get to like the real headbutts and stuff, and like you're seeing fun stuff, like you see great matches at times or whatever else, like even 4-star matches in these trio matches in SEAdLINNG, but like ultimately she's positioned to like in SEAdLINNG anyway, at least at the end, towards the beginning of 2019 or 20 before she moved to Stardom, like she was a comedy dope for like Hiroyo Matsumoto's Straight Man, where she's like, all right, Max Voltage is Ryo Mizunami and Nanae Takahashi and Miyuki Takase in like their faction, and then like you have these freelancers that are staples of SEAdLINNG and they're wrestling them on these cards, and like Nanae comes down and Ryo Mizunami comes down with the mic, and like they're doing this dance to this music, and they got idols in the ring and they're dancing and everything, and then like Ryo Mizunami like clockwork would come down with a Max Voltage shirt and hand one to Shuri, and then Shuri be like, what am I supposed to do? Fuck it, I'll put the shirt on and I'll start dancing with them, even though I'm about to wrestle them in a few seconds. Start dancing and all that stuff, and then like they do the ring introductions and all that stuff. The match about to start, and she's over in the corner with Max Voltage, and then Hiroyo Matsumoto will point and be like, fuck going on? And then all Shuri be like, oh, my bad. I forgot that, like, we were on the same team. You know what? Take this shirt off, this Max Voltage shirt. You see this shirt tonight? Fuck this shirt. Stomp on it, and then, like, then start doing comedy for, like, 3 minutes, and then, like, then start having real wrestling. So, like, that's kind of range she has. So, with Shingo, like, Shingo was, I don't know if, we just didn't know, because it's Dragon Gate. We just didn't know.
Yeah, and then, of course, you know, Shingo's been around for years and years. He was in Ring of Honor and Dragon Gate USA.
I didn't know he was in Ring of Honor. I knew about Dragon Gate.
Yeah, like there's like matches he's had with I think Roderick Strong that are out there, with Brody Lee, with Bryan Danielson, all that stuff back in the day. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I think with Shingo, maybe I have to see more of Shingo's career to see what he has done besides like this New Japan run. But like when I see him, I just think like he's just a ass kicker, and he can sell. Like I just think he's just a great wrestler, a great tough wrestler. Like I don't know what his range is. Maybe I'm just thinking because I know more of what Shuri has done or whatever else that I think. But like as far as the parallels of like great wrestler somewhere else comes to the main show and like not a big fish or small pond, big fish big pond don't matter, just raw. So yeah
that's kind of what I was thinking along the lines of.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we transition from since we talked about SEAdLINNG a little bit just now, we'll transition to SEAdLINNG's 7/11 Korakuen Hall show, 25th anniversary of Nanae Takahashi. For those that are uninitiated, she was the first red belt champion in Stardom. She is someone that, like, as I've followed and learned more about Stardom history, it quickly became a favorite wrestler in the world for me actively. She, like, I've never seen her in a big match that wasn't like 4 1/4. Like, all her matches are awesome. Like, she just comes forward and beats ass and gets her ass beat and just fights super hard. And she was like, you know, she's 25th anniversary. She is of the 96 class of All Japan Women's. Like, she was the last champion in All Japan before they closed shop in 2006. She moved around. She was in NEO. NEO was like had Asuka as well, our Asuka. And then she started Stardom with Rossi and Fuka and with Izuki Okawa, and then like she was the the first red belt champion. And then, like, you know, she left 2015 and she started her own, another promotion called SEAdLINNG, and SEAdLINNG has some of the best wrestling in the world, like, especially in the main, the top of the card. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a SEAdLINNG main event that wasn't 4 stars at least. Like, all they do is just have kick-ass, like, their cards are very similar to Stardom matches, except, like, it's a little, they just have more freelancers and straight to real wrestling stuff. Like, there's no young girls, it's more or less just like, we'll bring in people that are, like, real top prospects from other promotions and other dojos, bring them in with our, couple handful of actual in-ring talents that we have, build a card around it, have regulars, build storylines off of that. And then, like, we have tag titles, we have a singles title, and we just kick people's ass.
SEAdLINNG is essentially a Fire Pro promotion. So, in the Fire Pro, like, you can run a promotion and get free. You don't actually have to sign people. You can have like a handful of people that you have, but what you can do is invite people to show up to your show for your month. That's what SEAdLINNG kind of is.
Yeah. And the thing I think about SEAdLINNG so much is, like, there are, okay, so you have Nanai, Arisa, Yoshiko, Riko Kaiju, and Honori Hana, 2 young girls. Like, that's their actual full-time roster of active full-time wrestlers. Like, they have Nasuki Tayo is a ref / semi-retired wrestler who might wrestle like a 5-minute card match on, like, the undercard or ref. Like, that's their roster. Everything else is, like, bringing in Miyuki Takase from Act Rest Girls, bringing in freelance like Haruo Matsumoto or Shuri at the time, or Ryo Mizunami, or Asuka Vinny. So, like, they always have dope shit going on. Like, so anyway, so that's more or less Nanai. So in 2019,
hair versus hair. Oh, you're getting to it.
in 2019, she was the top champion in SEAdLINNG, and then she ended up losing the belt to Takumi Iroha, who had them 2 great matches with Mayu last year. She's from Marvelous, and then Arisa beat Takumi, and then they ended up going to November of 2019, where they had a hair versus hair match for the SEAdLINNG's Beyond the Sea title. That's the name of their top title. The storyline of that was that Arisa had never beaten Nanai. I think it was like 5. I think she was like 0-5. They have one of the best matches of 2019. I ended up giving the match 5 stars. It's the best women's match I've seen since we've been covering One Nation Radio. And for the 25th anniversary, she ended up picking Arisa, and they had another match. And this match was not as good as a 5-star match, but I still ended up giving this shit 4 3/4. They beat the living crap out of each other. I can't even go over all the stuff they did, but, like, I remember hearing the 10-minute call, and I was like, this was 10 minutes? They put so much action and just violence into 10 minutes. I was just like, I couldn't believe it.
I was watching this match. I was like, man, ain't they supposed to be friends? Because, like, they did that.
They were tag champs. They were tag champs.
Like, yeah, they were champs, and they did the Stardom matches. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, like, they taking it to each other. Like, this shit ain't pretty at all. Like, it's just like, I don't want to say cat fight, but it was like a way more physical than what you would term a cat fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's elbows and forearms galore, closed fist punches a couple times, headbutts. Like, towards the end, there's a spot where, like, Arisa is going for some move. Nanai catches it and has the arms basically crossed between. And, like, Arisa just escapes by basically doing the Ishii headbutt, except it was a legit headbutt. Mm-hmm. The finish of this match comes off of Nanai trying to escape a suplex. Arisa's like, oh, you ain't escaping. Let's go. Literally drives her forehead into the base of Nanai's skull and then straight dragon suplex her on her head and pins her. Like, this match is awesome. We talk about the Mayu and Takumi matches from last year, but, like, with this match and the match from 2019 is, like, as far as best women pairings I've ever seen, like, in recent, like, since we've been covering Joshi, like, those are it.
Yeah, they got 2 real great matches that I've seen together.
Yeah.
This one was like, yo, they just beat the fuck out of each other. Like, yeah. I really ain't got too much more to say.
Don't you just want them to be in the G1 in the B block? Like, you mean to tell me you'd rather watch, like, Yujiro Takahashi than or whoever else? Like, that's a dream match. Ishii versus Nanai is a dream match of mine. It'll never happen, but I would love to see those two get it on, because they'd be right up each other's alley. Perfect opponents for each other. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. And then the semi-main event was the ceiling title, the top title, Beyond the Sea title. Vinny, Asuka, because Vinny in AEW, Vinny, that is Asuka. Their name is Asuka in Japan. They're defending the title against Ryu Mizunami. And they had a great match. Like, it's mostly built around working over Mizunami's arms so she doesn't end up getting her lariats off. And at the end, Mizunami ends up dropping a few times. Ends up dropping Vinny, Asuka on their head, and just really good storytelling, really good match. I end up going 4 flat on this. I might be selling it short.
I think you are. When I was watching this one, it was just like stuff they were doing in the match was popping me left and right.
Yeah.
Vinny threw like an awesome Owen Hart style spinning wheel kick, which I probably clipped for my own personal collection. This was the second match of theirs that I've seen. Actually, no. I don't think they wrestled in AEW. I think they miss each other. I think Vinny won one match and then got to the second round. So this may be the third time that I've seen them. And yeah, man, this one was very enjoyable for me. Like this one, like it was shorter, I believe, than the Nanai match.
Yes.
So like, if you like, you guys will have to find how to watch it. I don't know how to watch SEAdLINNNG. I just kind of got it passed my way. And
If you want to watch it, just hit me up in a DM and I'll tell you how to go see it. I'll leave it at that. But those matches are definitely matches you should see if you care about me or Richard's opinion, pro wrestling. Like, they brought it. Like, we're talking about a match that I'm giving 4 stars, and I feel like I'm cutting it short, and because I watched it while like being straight up for 48 straight hours. So, I think
we're 4.25 at least here.
Yeah.
And then if you applied critical thought, you could probably find a lot more about it that you like.
Yeah. And then the main event, I'm 4.75. And I think that's like I think I've only given I don't think I've even given 15 matches that high of a rating this year so far.
Yeah, man. So we had a couple questions come in, just real quick. So MJ Does PR says, do you book Kenny versus Jay White at Full Gear, Bound for Glory, or Wrestle Kingdom?
If it's up to us?
Yeah, if it's up to us.
Bound for Glory, Full Gear, or Wrestle Kingdom?
Yep.
I would say do it at Wrestle Kingdom. Not because I actually want to see it there, but just so you can say, Kenny Omega's back in New Japan, so you can shut the fuck up about it.
Same. Yeah. I would pick Wrestle Kingdom just to, I want some tension. That's kind of like the life I lead as like a Kenny Omega fan, but that I miss the Japanese tension. So
oh my gosh,
take some of that. So there's an argument for Full Gear. Say Kenny has lost the championship by then. That'd be a cool match to do there. Bound for Glory is actually the promotion they've done the angle in, so whatever they can do that there.
Good point.
But for me, it's Wrestle Kingdom, and it's like the first time Kenny comes back to New Japan would be pretty big, regardless of what you think.
Yes, and I think the thing for me is like New Japan or Wrestle Kingdom makes the most sense from the perspective of the timing, because you got to get the AEW belt off of Omega before you send him over there, because it's like if he's the AEW champion, he can't lose.
Right.
And it's like I kind of want to see I would like to see a match between Jay White and Kenny Omega where like I'm not like guaranteed to know who's going to who can't, by the politics of wrestling can't do a job. So give it the most time so that you can get these belts off of people, and go ahead and make a match where like, oh my god, who can actually win? Because I gotta tell you, like, wrestling's not as fun when you like you kind of know, like as we talked about with earlier in the show with Roman Reigns and Edge, like you just know, or Karrion Kross and Gargano. If you just know, then it is what it is. Like, I think for a person that like doesn't even think about the politics of wrestling and play, like
Gargano and Kross could be 4 stars, but for me, it's like, no, I know Johnny can't win.
Yeah. From Muzza, he says, if AEW had to have a basketball team and they gave you the decision, who would be your starting 5 and one utility sub?
So a top 6 out of the AEW roster?
Yes. I've got the roster pulled up on the wiki, so I'm kind of looking at it.
I guess Archer, because he's actually like a real athlete.
Gotta have Archer there. I was thinking about maybe Hobbs for power forward. It says he's big. Needs somebody to grab some boards.
Okay.
I'm taking, for my point guard, I'm taking Nick Jackson. Like, bro, Nick Jackson does all these fucking trick shots on BT. Like, he's like a human horse. Like, he's a horse master. So, and that's all he does is play basketball in their spare time.
Okay. I had no idea. I don't know.
I also will take, man, looking at this roster here, I'll take Scorpio Skies.
Why? Why are you taking Scorpio Sky?
I need some speed, athleticism, you know, in the backcourt. So he could be the 2 guard there. And for the 3, maybe you go with some I don't know if he's, you know, I'm looking at Dustin, but he's kind of old. I don't know, man. I will go with Anthony Bowens. How about that?
Anthony Bowens. Okay. Wait, but that's all right. So who's your
that's
6th
5.
Man?
So my 6th man. So for the versatility, play, you know, up or down. I think I'm going to go with. This is tough. This is very tough.
Are we allowed to pick people that are injured?
Yes.
Okay.
I will take. I'll take Santana. Why not?
Okay. It's time for my 6.
Sure.
Okay. The Acclaimed, Private Party, and Top Flight.
That's funny.
I don't know if any of them can play a lick of basketball, but I know that they're athletic, and I'm assuming that they have stepped on a basketball court. And that's good enough for me. Whatever. I'm not really finna think about this. I'm just gonna give you the most stereotypical, problematic answer possible and move on.
You know who the pick actually might be? Billy Gunn. Except he's old now. Yeah. But I remember back in the Attitude Era, everyone always said Billy Gunn was the best basketball player.
Yeah, but think of who's saying that. What does that even mean? You're the best basketball player in the mid-90s WWE.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, that just means like, okay, so like he fouls hard. You can tell he fouls hard. He ain't got no finesse to his game at all. He out here playing football on basketball court. Nah.
That was funny.
Yeah. He's somebody that you want to be on your team. You don't want to have to play against him, and not because like he makes your team necessarily better, but just because you don't have to like have him foul you all the time with no free throws.
Muzz also asked, who was your favorite member of 3 Count of WCW? Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, and Evan Courageous.
I gotta go with Helms just because the only one I remember. So there you go.
I'll go with Evan Courageous. Thought he had the best name.
I'm guessing you. I bet you thought Justin Incredible was gonna be a superstar, didn't you?
Bro, what a name! What a name! Like, bro, I never even saw Justin Incredible wrestle, but I'm like, hold on, his name is Justin Incredible, bro. He must be raw. Like reading like PWI or something. Like, yo, he must be raw.
Oh my god, I knew it. I knew it was gonna be something dumb like that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. Also go to the Red Circle and drop us off with a donation. And be sure to go to prowrestlingtees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise and listen to other shows on the network. Keepin It Strong Style, 8-Bit Suplex, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast, Roman Washington Shit, The Grave Consequences, I already mentioned 8-Bit Suplex. All Things Elite and Red Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Did you know if you pay your nanny or sitter more than $2,300 a year or $100 a week, you owe taxes? When Care.com HomePay does your nanny taxes and payroll, we make sure to find all the tax benefits you qualify for, up to $8,000 a year. From tax filing to payroll, Care.com HomePay has it all covered. When you sign up for Care.com HomePay, we handle your nanny payroll, W-2s, everything you need. Try our service for free for the first month. Go to homepay.com to get started.
If you've ever been a renter, you know it's stressful to find a place with everything you love and nothing you don't. But did you know Zillow does rentals? It makes the search so easy. They have filters for pretty much everything, so you can find that place that's in your budget, but also isn't a shoebox. Or a place that's close to your parents, but far enough they have to call first. Plus, it's easy to apply, request tours, and pay rent in the app. Head to ZillowRentals.com and find your sweet spot.